We'll take it.
Dream big. Save 50% on iPhone 16 Pro at Cox Mobile.
Former Jacksonville Jaguar. Great player in his own right. He does the radio call for them. He thinks they're in a world of trouble because it's a team that's not playing together. You know, and I talked about dissension within the team, and it seems like there's some fractions. Doing it on our radio show throughout the course of the week, getting ready for this. This team should not be in the spot they're in. Way too talented. This was supposed to be the year they were going to take the next step, make the jump. Lawrence gets the big contract. You know, they're faster on defense, and nothing is coming together for them. And here they are, stuck in London for a week. They all said the team's talking about can't wait to get back home. Now, are you a team that can't wait to get back home because you can't take care of business here? Or are you going to take care of a Patriots team that has only been here on really a day or two of rest? So I talked to Jerod Mayo about this. He played 2 games in London. I said, what advantage did you have, you know, coming over on Thursday and, you know, they're over here for the whole week. Is there anything you're concerned with? He goes, what I'm concerned with is who comes out the fastest and the freshest. That team wins the games. He goes, we were on spot, ready to go. Both times we came out here. And he said, we came out here on short weeks and we won.
Well, this past week, it's been an emphasis in practice. Fast starts. One unit versus one unit. Offense versus defense.
I like that.
Try to generate a more explosive start for this team, an explosive start for this team. And you mentioned Jacksonville being out here. Last week, the Jaguars fell to the Chicago Bears at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 35-16. They've had time to make themselves at home. Wembley, of course, one of the 2 sites for them in home away from home games. They've played 12 in London overall, 6-6. But the Patriots have really been in the past the team that has felt at home here, having gone 2-0 at Wembley.
It's my favorite international game. I've called 2 games, and you heard Gil and I on the last time we were here. It's been a while now, but we called games in Mexico City. We called a game in Germany a year ago. This is my favorite spot. I really think it's because of the city, the amount of sights you can see, and London's a fantastic getaway town, tourists everywhere. The people are nice here. I love coming to London. Cheerio.
Oh. Cheers.
Oh, it is a morning game. I should have Bloody Marys here. What are we doing?
Well, it's absolutely a fabulous setting today. Despite the dreary sky, there's a light rain in the forecast. There was rain falling early this morning. But at this historic site, the home of the English national soccer team, the 3 Lions on the pitch today. It's the Patriots and the Jaguars. Coming up next, the United Ag and Turf starting lineups and the kickoff on the Safety Insurance 98.5, the Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network.
Shopify Point of Sale is retail made right, so you can give in-store shoppers what they really want.
Like buy online, pick up in store?
Yep.
Can I display in-store stock online?
Definitely.
From every location?
From 1,000 locations.
Email capture, easy returns?
Of course.
Can it make me right all the time?
No. Shopify Point of Sale. Retail made right. Visit shopify.com/in-store to learn more.
You have year-end goals. Constant Contact has what it takes to help you meet them faster. Sell more, raise more, and build real relationships with your audience with Constant Contact's digital marketing tools, all made to fast-track your success. Put the go in your 2024 goals with email, social, SMS, and customized marketing campaigns built for you in just a few clicks. Ready, set, go to ConstantContact.com and start your free trial today.
At Navigant Credit Union, our customers are our owners, which means your business success is our business success. Own your skill, own your goals, own your credit union. Navigant Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said Maraca, senor, but his nose said, hey, freshest scent ever. Following his nose, Jim found the man pouring Gain scent beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, sir, your scent maracas smell amazing. You could call them scent maracas, but most noses call them Gain scent beads. Try Gain scent beads. Way fresher than detergent alone.
Introducing Instagram teen accounts. A new way to keep your teen safer as they grow. Like making sure they always have their seatbelt on.
All right, sweetie pie, buckle up. Good job.
Or ring the bell on their bike.
Okay, kid, give it a try. Nice.
Or remember their elbow pads.
Knees too, okay? Yep. There you go.
New Instagram teen accounts. Automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
David Pasternak plays here.
High slot now, McAvoy, far side. Pasternak shoots, looking for the tip. It comes back to him, fires, he scores! He's got another! Marchand, high slot, looks back door, swings it across, popping out Pasternak, shoots, he scores! Marchand's got it, right circle, Bergeron to Pasternak, shoots, he scores!
This is the home of the Bees. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
The home of the Bees, the Sports Hub.
This one is very important because it's the next one. I think all the guys are excited for the opportunity to play in front of these fans here in this city and get to experience something a little bit different than we're used to.
One of your newest team captains, Hunter Henry. Your starting lineups are brought to you by United AG and Turf. It's United Ag and Turf, the largest John Deere dealership in New England. 42 locations, get any job done with United Ag and Turf, because together we're unstoppable. Together we're united. Visit a location nearest you, or you can check them out online at unitedequip.com. Captains making their way to midfield for the coin toss, but first our starting lineups. Kendrick Bourne, Pop Douglas, and Jalen Polk are your wide receivers. Your tackles, DeMontre Jacobs is the left tackle. Michael Wenu, the right tackle. Michael Jordan will be your left guard. Your right guard, good to have him back, rookie Layden Robinson. Center is Ben Brown. Newly acquired Ben Brown. Thought he played well last week. Tight end, you heard him right there, Hunter Henry. Running back, Ramondre Stevenson. Hope he can give it a go today. He's been bothered by an ankle. And a quarterback making his second start as a Patriot is Drake May. Waiting on the official coin toss. A little bit more of a gathering down.
Have been screaming and yelling, fans and media and everybody along the way, screaming and yelling about what a grown-ass man should do. Like, it is his head, it's his brain, it's his health, and most importantly, like, everybody has a different reaction. I think about, I've got a friend who every time he stubs his toe, you would think it's Peter Griffin, and it's just the biggest thing in the entire world. I accidentally, during my fitness journey a couple of months ago, I dropped a weight on my big toe. It cracked and just annihilated my toenail. I didn't even notice it for a day. I was like, oh yeah, that's broken off. That hurt. So we're all different in our visceral reactions to things. It is fully possible that, Tua has a big physical reaction to concussions that make it look really bad, but that doesn't mean that it's any worse than the offensive lineman we're not talking about that's had multiple concussions, right? Like, concussion protocol is handled very seriously by the league and very seriously by modern players. If he sits down with his doctor, and the Dolphins sit down with their team doctor, and then Tua sits down with his family.
Heads up, pet owners. There's a new 24-hour veterinary emergency hospital in Warwick. Veg ER for Pets is now open and ready for any emergency and urgent care need. Whether you have a dog, cat, bird, or exotic, if it fits through the door, they'll treat it. Just call or walk in and you'll see an emergency veterinarian right away. Best of all, you get to stay by your pet's side the entire time. For more information, visit veg.com today. That's VEG.com.
Chiefs bring their perfect record to Santa Clara for another showdown with the team they beat in February, the San Francisco 49ers. In an ironic twist, the last time a team going for the three-peat started that season 5-0 was the 1990 Niners, who were knocked out in the championship game by the New York Giants. Patrick Mahomes, for his part, is ready for a showdown.
I always like going up against the best, and that's what we're going up against this week. And so whenever you have two great football teams that meet up in the Super Bowl and meet up in all these big games, there's going to be a history between that. And so obviously we've been able to win those games, but we know how good this football team is, and we have a ton of respect for them. And so it's not like one play could have changed all these football games. And so we go with that mindset of we just got to make the plays whenever they count.
The Minnesota Vikings are the other unbeaten, and they have their toughest test to date as the Detroit Lions come to town. Detroit has a 4-1 record and the hottest quarterback in the league right now in Jared Goff. But They lost the face and heartbeat of their defense, Aiden Hutchinson, last week to a brutal leg injury that's expected to end his season. So, Dan Campbell, do you think your team is still a strong Super Bowl contender without Hutchinson?
Listen, my job is to coach what's here, and I'm going to coach the hell out of them, and we are as a staff. And so, yeah, I do. And if we get somebody, great. If we don't, these are our guys, and the coaches know that. This is what we came into camp with. This is why we develop talent, and it's next man up. They got to be ready to go.
Our Sunday night game has some intrigue of its own as the Steelers host the Jets. Pittsburgh's allowing just a tick over 14 points per game on the way to a 4-2 start. But the Jets continue to go all in on contending this year, as evidenced by their trade for Raiders wide receiver Devontae Adams this week. Adams has caught 96 career touchdown passes in the regular season. 68 of those were thrown by Aaron Rodgers back when they were Packers teammates. And Aaron is thrilled to get his buddy back, even though the drama of how it happened might have been a bit much for his 40-year-old heart.
I literally found out at, close to 1 o'clock in the morning when he said he was getting on a plane, and I just my heart dropped, and I was like, to where? And he said, New York. I was like, really? I knew there was interest, but I knew that there was a lot of other things in play, and that other teams that were interested as well.
Thursday Night Football here on Westwood One proved that you can indeed go home again. Sean Payton brought his Denver Broncos team into New Orleans, where he made his name and won a Super Bowl as a head coach, and Denver walked out with a dominant 33-10 win. For the steely-eyed Payton, it was about more than the Broncos' fourth victory of the season.
It meant a lot because, there were a lot of, moments here, and you get a chance to see old players that are here, and then to be with this team. It's the reason you miss it. The 1 year out, and you miss relationships, and you miss making memories, and having a chance to be part of their journey and coach them is a.
But you have no idea what to do with it. You have no idea what to do with your. And everybody listening says, I'd love to have that problem. Yeah, sure, cool, until you're in it. And then suddenly you've gone from being on the top of the world to being irrelevant in so many ways. You have money, but you also, you got to figure out what you're doing with your time and with your life. And you've committed your whole life to doing this, and now it's been taken away from you, and you no longer have value with the thing that you love. Everybody sits there and says, I'd love to know what that problem is. No, you wouldn't. It's just shoes on the other foot. It's not the easy life that people think it is.
That's it. The grass always being greener. Hey, real quick before we get.
So this is the new iPhone 16 Pro.
Yep. Say hello to Apple Intelligence. It's the best
day ever.
And when you get it with Cox Mobile, you'll be running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability.
I'm having the time of my life. Smart. We'll take it.
Dream big. Save 50% on iPhone 16 Pro at Cox Mobile.
And he's running the code red, i.e. Deshaun Watson gives us the best chance to win. Amari Cooper has been released from that purgatory and heads over to Buffalo. So the offense gets a true number one, maybe the third down alongside the efficiency with Shakir. I'm curious to see what Brady and Allen concoct for the offense going forward in Buffalo.
Yeah, and that third down portion of it is huge. I believe that the devil in the details and the minutia, at some point you've got to have a go-to. This is 3rd and 6, and I know what I'm doing. And the great teams have some sort of a way to figure that out constantly. Whether it's Kelsey and Mahomes, we look at some of these. It's 3rd and 6. I need one guy to be able to stand up and make that play. Who is that guy? And the Bills' answer to 3rd and 6 is, I'm going to hope and pray that Josh Allen can figure something.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
All right, Carl, we have early morning football once again as the Jaguars are taking on the Patriots in London. No score early in the first quarter. The Jets and Hassan Reddick have agreed to an adjusted contract, ending his holdout. Reddick will report to the team on Monday. Reddick's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, says they will continue to work towards a long-term extension with the Jets. New York is in Pittsburgh tonight to take on the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. In other news, Cooper Kupp unlikely to play today for the Rams, while Mason Rudolph will start today for the Titans as they take on the Buffalo Bills. College football last night. Number 5, Georgia used a terrific defensive performance to topple top-ranked Texas 30-15. Kirby Smart's team held the Longhorns scoreless and to fewer than 50 total yards in the first half.
A lot of respect for Texas and their team. A lot of resilience with our team in terms of overcoming many obstacles, including some self-inflicted. Our inability to catch a ball is almost comical, but I was proud of our guys.
Elsewhere, number 17, Kansas State handled the West Virginia 45-18. Ninth-ranked Iowa State avoided an upset, prevailing over UCF 38-35. While number 8 LSU erased Arkansas 34-10. Number 11 Tennessee rallied to beat number 7 Alabama 24-17. Sixth-ranked Miami held off Louisville 52-45, and number 16 Indiana, they remained unbeaten as they dismissed Nebraska 56-7. In Cleveland, the Yankees moved one step closer to championship number 28 by defeating the Guardians 5-2 in 10 innings to advance to the World Series. Juan Soto delivered the go-ahead 3.
Sportsnet. That's INF Sportsnet for our Facebook page. This is the Infinity Sports Network.
Hey, what's going on? This is Zach Gelb. Join me for the Zach Gelb Show, weekday afternoon starting at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, on the Infinity Sports Network.
Lowe sabe que necesitas las herramientas más potentes para la obra. Por eso te traemos más de 15 herramientas nuevas, como el taladro XR de 20 voltios Max, destornillador de impacto y la sierra circular de Walt. Además, obtén la potente línea de baterías XR que te ahorran tiempo en la obra. Porque tú mereces tener las herramientas y baterías de Walt de 20 voltios Max con el rendimiento más avanzado para tus proyectos. Porque Lowe sabe de herramientas. Lowe sabe de pros. Selección varía por región hasta agotar existencias.
How powerful is Cox Internet? Powerful enough to stream all my live sports, actually.
Chaos across the college football world. At Isaac Lowenkron, where you find him. He's got the Angel City call later on today. That's always a little extra bonus for you, Jason Fitz. Go and look at his timeline. Some of the calls, majestic stuff.
He's got the voice for it, too. Like, there's just certain guys that you hear him, you're like, yeah.
Why, thank you, Jason.
I didn't get into Juilliard, though. I didn't know that. That's super cool.
Yeah, Juilliard I was a fat kid that played the violin. Let's not give any street cred to that. Like, no, that was my, past life, yes. But
well, at 10 and 11, I mean.
I played Carnegie Hall when I was 10 years old.
See,
Yeah,
there you go.
I was back, I peaked musically before I hit puberty. But I will say this, like, my voice sounds like a prepubescent, you know what I'm saying, pre-puberty child. So, like, I don't stand a chance of doing any of those things that sound cool with my voice. Like, distinct voice for radio is the polite way that people condescendingly tell me that my voice still cracks. Like, that's it.
Well, anytime we can get a Brady Bunch reference into the show, we do. When it's time to change, you've got to rearrange. And then, eventually in a couple of years, you'll be back on tour, and I'll just be your roadie.
No,
It'll
never.
Be great.
I am. My touring days are long behind me. Like I sit here and do radio in front of a wall full of gold and platinum records like a boss that only remind me that I have no desire to live on a tour bus ever again.
Fair enough. Point taken. All right, we'll look for the anthology and the book to come later on. At Jason Fitz, where you find him on Twitter. Find me over at Swollen Dome. As we continue here, it's Fox Football Sunday. A couple more news items and notes to get through and a couple more games to discuss as we get ready for Countdown to Kickoff. That'll kick off here in 20 minutes with the guys on Fox Sports Radio.
Our thanks to Rapid Radios, the official communication device of Fox Sports Radio. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies.
Please say over when you finish talking. Over.
They help us communicate from all across the nation.
Rapid Radio. Over.
The official communication device of Fox Sports Radio.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hudson here. I'm turning 79 this year. And you know what comes with age? Wisdom. Like choosing to get an RSV vaccine. RSV is a highly contagious virus that can land older adults in the hospital. Adults like me, 75 or older, or those 60 or older with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes. Check eligibility and schedule an RSV vaccine at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At work, I play it all day, every day at work.
When Dan Patrick speaks, you better stop and listen.
Yeah, where do you listen at?
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
I did see where DeMarcus Cousins, who won a championship with the Lakers, said that the team drafting Bronny James, they're not serious about winning.
I don't really think the Lakers are serious anymore. You know, I love everything that it stands for. I think, you know, what Bron is doing with his legacy and just, you know, as a businessman and everything that comes with it, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's really, really dope. But as far as the Lakers actually competing, I don't know. I take that as a sign as they aren't really serious.
Okay, does he have a point here? Because they used a late second-round pick on LeBron's son that they're not really serious. Because you gotta worry about some of these other teams. Like Houston is coming up. Like you're gonna have to deal with some of these other teams that you normally don't. Memphis is going to be with John Morant. Do the Pelicans figure it out? Minnesota's going to be really good. Denver is a good team. I don't think they're a championship team anymore. But, you know, the Suns still have a nucleus. I mean, there's a lot going on out here. But I don't think drafting Bronny James means you're not serious. Let's go back in history where you had teams who drafted. Carl Lewis got drafted in the NBA. Pat Riley once got drafted in the NFL, I think by the Cowboys. Now, these are later. These are 8th round, 9th round when you had drafts that are a little bit longer. The fact that it's a 2-round draft, do you look at this and say, well, they're not really serious? I think they are.
If you want to know what Dan Patrick said next, just podcast it by searching The Dan Patrick Show. And as always, you can listen to Dan Patrick live weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
I have good news for Justin Fields. And I think everybody knows Fields is a better quarterback, right? Albert Breer had a bit today. I think he was on with Dan Patrick, and he said that, hey, there's lots of people in the Steelers locker room that don't want to see a quarterback change. But for some reason, Tomlin is bent on this, and I don't know why this itch to scratch is there. Because I don't know what he thinks Russell Wilson's going to give the Steelers that Justin Fields doesn't. This is not Russell Wilson looking at the back of his football card. This is not Russell Wilson in 2013 or 2019. This is Russell Wilson coming off an injury. He hasn't played. He doesn't have the escapability. What do you think he's going to bring you that Justin Fields doesn't, right? You got to stick with the guy because Justin Fields is the better choice. So the best news for Justin Fields is he's probably a half or maybe one game from getting back to being a starting quarterback.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
With Colin Cowherd.
So the Denver Broncos hammered the Saints in New Orleans 33-10. It didn't even feel that close. So when you go on the road like the Broncos did, on a short week with a rookie quarterback that didn't play well and win by 3 touchdowns, that's coaching. Dennis Allen may be the worst coach in the league. Sean Payton once again takes a dead franchise. Broncos were a dead franchise and has squeezed every ounce of talent out of them. And again, an offensive coach. We've been on this now for multiple years. This is why I would always prefer to get an offensive coach. I've seen Andy Reid do this twice. I've seen Sean McVay do this. And now I've seen Sean Payton do this. I'm watching that Bronco O-line this year, guard, center, guard. It feels like a top 3 or 4 in the league.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Who the wants smoke?
The people have spoken, and they love our lineup.
We're the best!
Colin Cowherd, Dan Patrick, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, Jonas Knox, Doug Gottlieb, Ben Maller.
I'm all in.
Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington, Covino and Rich, Jason Smith, and Mike Harmon.
Boom!
We're always on, from the mornings to the late nights. We are Fox Sports Radio, the premier sports lineup in the nation.
B-E-S-T,
The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken. Wow. You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
Here's how it sounded.
Shotgun snap to May, looking right. He tosses it to a wide open Hasty. Right sideline down, a cut left at the 5. Jermichael, the former Jaguar, dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots!
That's a hell of a read by the young quarterback on his second start.
There you go. As we get the Patriots radio on the call, excited right off the jump. Drake May, 6 of 7, 62 yards, and a touchdown against a disinterested, ineffective Jaguars defense. Absolutely pathetic. As Hasty walks in, a bad effort by Hines Allen, formerly Josh Allen, on the effort where he thinks he's going to run out of bounds or something, cuts back in, and nobody bothers to meet him at the goal line. Touchdown, Patriots, their first opening drive touchdown of the season. Jason Fitz, we were talking about effort, talking about long holidays in Europe. Doug Peterson is about 55 minutes away from perhaps having one.
I hope he flew the family over so they can get a nice little trip after all this is done and celebrate. And his, contract's fully guaranteed. So good for him because, when coaches are let go, we should stress it's not really about the head coach whose contract is fully guaranteed. Right. It's about everybody else and, everything all the way down to training people that, don't necessarily have the same livelihood that are all impacted. So I joke about it, but there's a positive here for the Patriots, and that is I honestly, if I was New England, I've said all year I wouldn't have played Drake May at all because I think that roster is just a disaster around him. But he has come in and looked sharp, and this is what I think we're going to have to get used to coming out of college football. Because of NIL and the changes in transfer portal eligibility rules, college football quarterbacks are older than ever, and they've played more football than ever. So you got guys that are just a little bit more experienced coming into the league that have a little bit more mindset of what it takes to be a quarterback in the league, and we're seeing it this year. Like it is so interesting to me, and Drake's only 22, but it is interesting to me that across the board, we've got this Caleb, Jaden, Drake. This just looks like a home run of a draft class so far. We don't even know what JJ's going to look like. We won't know what Michael Penix is going to look like for a minute, but man, I think talent evaluators have an easier job with the quarterback position than ever because they get more time to actually see these guys before they come out.
That's it. We talk about games played. I know the big conversation, obviously, over in Indianapolis. We talked about the Miami side of things with Tua potentially coming back here in the next couple of weeks. The other side of week 7 is Anthony Richardson playing. I know you and Andy talked about it a little bit earlier on in the wee hours of the morning here on the West Coast. You can find the podcast wherever you find your audio. Download it, give it 5 stars, rate it, review it, send it to friends and family. We'll love you forever. But to that point, a very short sample size for Anthony Richardson, some of the other quarterbacks that get pressed into action because of the great athleticism, but not necessarily the knowledge, the depth of experience. It's why, Brock Purdy becomes the poster child for playing your full college run and getting into a proper system, proper culture, as it were, can get you to the promised land. So Drake May looked good last week. Great opening drive. Jaguars didn't look like they really wanted to play defense. Evan Ingram, 2 catches on this ensuing drive for the Jaguars, which just ended in a punt. So May coming back on the field as we get deep inside the first quarter. Quick housekeeping note, no Cooper Kupp for the Rams. They were hoping he'd be back. Amari Cooper will have a debut with the Bills later. How much he'll be used, don't know, but he's good enough, I think, for a back-end number 2 or flex play for the fantasy purposes. If you want to stick around, I'll be happy to answer questions on Twitter at Swollen Dome as we go. But Baltimore-Tampa, because we're talking about this draft class a lot, Jason, is 2018 looks a lot better in hindsight. We talked Josh Allen. You've got the battle of Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. The only guy not playing meaningful football, Josh Rosen. Sorry, you were the odd man out. You got screwed in Arizona. That's the breaks, as they say. But multiple bites at the apple. He's out. But that game on Monday is one to watch. You've got Carolina going up against Washington and Daniels. They're an 8-point favorite, 51.5 or 52 the total. Detroit, Minnesota. I mean, limited resources. Where are your eyes drifting as the packages go up?
I think Detroit, Minnesota teaches us the most. Is Minnesota just going to wreck every quarterback they go up against this season, or is Jared Goff going to be the one that wrecks Minnesota and makes himself an MVP candidate? I think that game has the most we can learn from of any game this weekend.
Yeah, curious on the Detroit defense side after the loss of Hutchinson a week ago. The guys will have all the insights from the gambling perspective coming up as you look for an edge at the bar or in the local leagues. He's Jason Fitz. I'm Mike Harmon. Thanks for listening. It's Fox Football Sundown.
We are Fox Sports.
Football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws a block, and his teammate scores instead. Ugh. But with BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms.
This U.S. promotional offer not available in Ontario or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. For West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
The most fearless voice in sports is on FS1. The one and only Colin Cowherd is bold, unique, and outspoken. Wow. You can see him on The Herd, weekdays at noon Eastern on FS1 in the Fox Sports app.
This is
The Herd. When Colin Cowherd drops the info, The Herd, you need to listen.
So there are a couple of teams in the NFL that when I watch them on TV, I think they look really sloppy. Jacksonville 1, Dallas 2. Route running is exactly what Troy Aikman's talking about. And it's interesting because the Cowboys brand themselves as luxury. They play in a stadium, the Taj Mahal, or maybe the Taj Yal. They pay the quarterback and wide receiver top of the league. Their practice facilities, the very, very best. The owner dropping in the personal helicopter into the practice field. Yet, all the details stink. Penalties, a Mike McCarthy staple, among the most in the league. Turnovers, second most in the league. Red zone, terribly inefficient, third worst in the league. Route running, as Troy Aikman called it, lazy. You know, you're going to an expensive restaurant, you don't want the meal to be cold when you get it. They're all about marquee, not about really elite management. And everything's bigger in Texas except the Cowboys. They've gotten very small very quickly. And just think about this. They can no longer compete at home with the better teams. Green Bay, Detroit, Baltimore. I mean, they couldn't compete at home when the Saints were healthy. Like, that's a problem. So Jerry Jones can get on local radio and bang on the hosts all he wants. But when Troy Aikman calls you lazy, and when Michael Irvin this week calls you soft, Mike McCarthy's career is over. It's not official, but, Jerry owns the team. It could all be his fault.
If you're eager to find out what Colin said next, just podcast it by searching The Herd. And as always, you can listen live to Colin Cowherd, weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, on Fox Sports Radio.
This, keep it on the down low here,
is the Dan Patrick Show.
Well, I mentioned when Aiden Hutchinson went down, I would place a call, if I'm the Lions, to the Cleveland Browns. I would just kick the tires on Myles Garrett. Now, they might go, click. Or I would call the Raiders and ask about Max Crosby. Because Devontae Adams, we thought was going to be traded. Now you're in a rebuild. Well, Max Crosby was asked about maybe playing elsewhere.
I'm not here to rebuild. I'm here to win.
Well, I wouldn't stay in Vegas then. If I were you, I'd be leaving Las Vegas. I would do what Devontae Adams did. Just say, I'd like to play for a team that's going to compete. Can I do that? Can I help you get some draft picks? Can I help you rebuild? Can I help you get your quarterback? Can I help you with Tom Brady now taking over as a minority owner.
Dan Patrick.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Are y'all ready to have some fun?
On the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
I'm just going to say it because it's going to seem weird.
You'll get this.
I'm not saying the guy's overrated.
And some of this.
Like death, pettiness knows no tax bracket.
Oh, hey now. And on occasion.
4, 2, 1.
What's our disaster scenario early on in the season?
That.
Yeah, baby.
Let's go.
It's the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. On Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details. FS1.
Looking for the one, what you looking at the one?
And here's what you need to know.
At Wembley Stadium in London right now, the New England Patriots have a 7-0 lead over the Jacksonville Jaguars with 1:57 left to play in the first quarter on a 16-yard touchdown pass from Jerod Mayo to Jermichael Hasty. May 7 of 9 for 75 yards up to this point. New York Jets pass rusher Hassan Reddick has ended his holdout, according to his new agent. He's agreed to a reworked short-term contract and is now expected to report to the Jets on Monday. In Game 5 of the American League Championship Series on Saturday night, Juan Soto's 3-run home run with 2 outs at the top of the 10th inning gave the New York Yankees a 5-2 win over the Cleveland Guardians. Yankees take the series 4-1. They win their 41st American League pennant and first in 15 years. College football Saturday night, 5th-ranked Georgia won at number 1 Texas, 30-15. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
Are you ready to witness greatness?
NFL fans, welcome to the largest tailgate party in the nation.
Hey, sharp, right from the beginning.
Get that work in today, huh?
Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. We're setting you up with the information you need to watch your team win.
Victory is the end game.
We're here to break it all down.
Oh, that's hard.
This is Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM. Now, we're live from your tailgate. Here's Brian Noe, 8-year NFL veteran Jeff Schwartz, and professional sports bettor Bill Krackomberger.
Oh, good morning. Welcome in. Week 7 here. Before we get all into the college football recap and the game in London as the Patriots are ahead 7-0 in what will officially be the pink slip for Doug Peterson if the score holds up. I was thinking about our 3 teams. Our 3 teams. Jeff, your Ducks won on Friday. My Irish won on Saturday. And I started thinking about your team, Crack, which is your bankroll, of course. Has your bankroll done well so far this weekend?
Yeah, this week's a losing week so far.
What?
You know, always very transparent. Been on a roll really since week 1 preseason. Yeah, not having a good week so far. Down a few units, down like 4 units, but I have at least triple that many units in play in props alone today. So.
There you go.
You sent us those props. I appreciate that. I was picking my wife up from the Morgan Wallen concert last night at I don't know 11:30 Eastern. I'm watching some Utah football last night, entering in props at midnight last night to head into today. So
I know you keep your phone off, though, right? I'm not bothering.
No, my phone's always on silent.
Yeah.
and I did put my phone on Do Not Disturb because it kept lighting up from not just from you, but from other people texting about Utah last night in a stinky performance. Yeah. But guys, I don't know about you. I'm rooting for the number 1 team in the country, and it feels mighty high to be rooting for that team, the Oregon Ducks. So they'll be number 1, Brian, after Georgia last night. Hey. I'll tell you what. A couple weeks ago, Georgia loses to Alabama. Georgia got out to plus 650 to win the national championship. Guess who took Georgia plus 650 to win the national championship?
No kidding,
this guy
really?
did, because that was ridiculous. And now, obviously, the number is going to come way down. Guys, it's a 12-team playoff. I find myself rooting in college football this year and viewing the sport a little differently, Brian, where obviously my team's really good, Oregon, but I was watching that Purdue game. I was thinking about sort of the mentality of that. And when I watch the NFL, I'm a Chiefs fan, but just in general, you're a Dolphins fan, Crack's a Bankroll fan. But when you're an NFL fan, wins and losses are important, but not the be-all, end-all, right? It's more about getting the postseason. Just sort of get in and figure it out when you get in. And a loss or two doesn't kill you, right? You know the best team in the NFL goes 13-4 in a given season. A playoff team could lose 7 or 8 games and be a playoff team. And I found myself, now that there's a 12-team playoff, rooting for my team differently. Because now, in previous years, you had to beat Purdue 49-0 to make a statement. Not anymore. Win by 1 point. Who cares? Just win the game. Because guess what? 12-team playoff. 12 teams get in. Oregon's one of the best 12 teams. Notre Dame, I think, is going to be a playoff team if they win out. And they have what do you have? USC's your toughest team, I think. USC.
Well, they got Army and
I don't know.
Navy now, right?
Oh, you're right. Army, Navy. By the way, Navy yesterday.
Yeah.
Navy. That was a spot where prime look-ahead spot, right? You're at Notre Dame the next weekend, and you put up 51 points on Charlotte in like 8 drives. It was their offense is here. They throw the ball now, by the way, for those who haven't watched Navy. They're like a multi-purpose offense. Still under center, still running the triple option. They throw the ball a lot now. Army undefeated as well. So I find myself viewing college football differently. I don't think a 12-team playoff is necessarily needed, but it does change it. And did Georgia get it to 650, Brian, was crazy. Yeah. Georgia's going to be a playoff team. They're going to be the favorite. Them, Ohio State, Oregon. Like, I don't think, and I actually think I might snag up Texas. I'm curious what Texas reopens up at to win the championship. One game now does not define your season.
Man, Georgia did look good last night. They really did. And I love Kirby Smart after the game where he was like, and they tried to take it from us. They tried to steal it from us.
I've never seen that in my life. I for those who might have missed it, I don't know what you were doing last night, hanging with your family. Come on. There was a pass interference that was called on a Texas interception. And Texas returned the ball, I think, deep into Georgia territory after the interception.
Yep.
And I was actually listening on the radio. I was driving. I forget what I think I was taking the kids to Morgan Wallen. I don't know what I was doing. And I'm listening to the radio, and I kind of like tuned it out for a few minutes. And like 7 minutes later, they're still talking about it on the radio. I'm like, what is happening right now? Mm-hmm. Come to find out that because Texas fans threw bottles on the field, there was a delay of game. And in the delay, they determined a pass interference that happened on the play that took away the interception was not a pass interference. Now, that might have been the right call, guys, but that's not the way this works.
Yeah, not the
There's
process.
no review process for pass interference in college football. Yeah, there's a sky judge, sure, but they're not supposed to overrule. This is not a reviewable play, guys. They cannot overrule this. They cannot go back and undo a pass interference, especially like 7 minutes after it happened.
Yeah.
And I was in shock they did this. And Crack, I know we all three of us don't agree games are fixed, right? But if you think games are fixed,
right,
this is a great example for it, Crack.
I even got a text on it. Someone actually texted me and said, "Do you believe what just happened?" And of course, I actually wasn't in front
You
of the
don't watch,
screen.
I know, yeah. You
no,
don't watch
but I do watch some major games, and if I'm here, I will. But I was out probably having a meal or something. But when it happened, I was in a restaurant, and I got the text, and I was like, "Wow!" And but I do know what happened. I seen the highlights of the game, and I seen Arch Manning there coming for one.
A little
series,
bit, a couple drives.
Yeah, just a series, but it was another game with like playoff atmosphere. So, and again, I do think both of these teams will end up in the tournament and possibly even have a rematch here. So, but I did hear about that BS review, and I was like, that doesn't happen. So, like you said, you were with your family too, though, right? You were in the car or something. You said
I was.
So
I basically turned into a chauffeur last night where. I drove my wife, my son. Well, Friday night I drove no one to the concert. My daughter went to the concert with a friend. I picked them up at 11 o'clock, and then last night I drove my wife and son and a friend to the concert. They went last night.
Oh,
and
nice.
I picked my son up who wanted to leave early because he was tired and didn't not a fan of Morgan Wallen, I guess. I picked him up, drove him home, then went back to pick my wife up and our friend. And I'm a taxi cab service, Crack. All I do all day is drive my kids to sports and drive my wife around the city. I live close to the stadium, though. It's like 12 minutes. It's not a big deal.
Oh, wow.
But big Morgan Wallen fans, I guess.
By the way, how about Bama goes down again? Bama, yikes.
Yeah. I watch a lot of Kalen DeBoer the last couple of years, and I think he's a really good coach still. But I took Tennessee to cover this game. I didn't wager on either of the game. I thought Texas was going to win by touchdown. That didn't happen. I thought Tennessee would at least cover the game. So I was 1 for 1 of the big games. I didn't bet on any of them. Is that like I think he's not like a yeller and screamer, which is fine. I don't think Kalen DeBoer is. You don't have to be a yeller and screamer to be a good coach.
Unless they don't allow you to fake an injury, and he's completely ticked off about that. But yes, other than that, you're right.
But I think like that job requires kind of a psycho. Like Kirby Smart's a psycho. Okay,
absolutely.
I think Dan Lanning is a complete psycho at Oregon.
Yes, yeah.
Like
Kenny Dillingham is a psycho.
Kenny Dillingham is a separate psycho. But yes, are you trying out for the ASU kicker job here, Brian?
If I could kick, I would. But
for those who missed it, Arizona State has bad kicking problems, and their coach went up to the podium yesterday and said that there's open tryouts on Monday for a kicker on campus. Anyone show up and try to kick the ball. I don't know if Kalen DeBoer is like psycho enough to win at Alabama, if that makes sense. Because Dabo's a psycho, Clemson, like these guys, and I'm curious how he adapts his coaching style. He can win. We know he's a really good coach, guys. I'm not debating whether he's a good coach or not, but I think there's a little bit of that job where you have to be a little bit nuts and intense and foam at the mouth, and it's not who he is, and he's gonna have to learn to be a different coach at Alabama than he was previously at Washington or Fresno or Sioux Falls. And it'll take some time. It certainly will. But they allowed 24 second-half points. I mean, Tennessee could not move the ball.
At all.
Tennessee has had trouble moving the ball. I mean, do you remember, they played a game this year against Kent State. It was 71-0, where there was talk about like a mercy rule because they scored, I think it was 66 first-half points, 65. I'm looking around. They were 65-0 at halftime. And now Tennessee has not scored a point in the first half in 3 straight games. And Alabama still could not finish that game at Tennessee. So, the one thing I take away from the season so far, Brian, before we get back to the NFL, is there's a lot of flawed teams. There's not a 21 Georgia, right? There's like not a team right now, I think, that is a quote-unquote favorite to win. There might be a team with the best odds to win, but as far as like, okay, I think this team can win 3 playoff games in a row. I think Georgia can do it. I think Texas can do it. I think Ohio State can do it. I think Oregon can do it. That's probably where my list stops, to be fair. But if Alabama just had a 3-game stretch, or they had a 4-game stretch, Brian, where they just play out of their mind, it absolutely could win the championship.
Yeah.
There's not. It's going to be fun, but I still don't think there's only like 4 teams that can win.
Yeah. Bama's just so undisciplined right now. The penalties that we see from
which wasn't a problem at Washington last season for Caleb
No,
DeBoer.
absolutely not. But man,
We're not
they got to get that.
seeing that this time of the year either. Alabama with 2 losses, so
no. And
but
the way
like
too,
Jeff
Crack,
said,
the way it happens.
Yeah, they still can get, of course, in the playoffs, especially if they run the table. So
it's going to be tough.
Playoffs,
yeah,
the playoffs are going to be interesting because the Big 12 is kind of nuts, and there could be multiple playoff teams in the Big 12 if people view the Big 12 as like a Power 2 conference, right, Brian? Because you look at BYU's undefeated right now. Kansas State has 1 loss. Iowa State has no losses. So BYU, Iowa State, both undefeated. And then you have Colorado, by the way, 5-2, kind of hanging out right now. Colorado is a great example of saturation in the market because and how that affects the way we talk about teams, because Colorado is legitimately doing some good stuff, guys. Like, they're playing good football right now. But we have talked about them so much when they were not good that people are over discussing Colorado. They went on the road and beat Arizona bad. They beat UCF on the road bad. Like, they have a 3-point loss to Kansas State. Like, they're playing good football right now. But we've out-talked ourselves on Colorado. Like, if we just sort of saved up that energy that people wanted to crown them after last season and just wait till now to do it, they'd be getting so much love.
Yeah.
But we don't do that because people are tired. We're so oversaturated with Colorado stuff.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you're right. They are playing some good football. Travis Hunter, he didn't play the second half, nursing that shoulder injury. But think about that. He's going to be one of the top picks in the NFL draft, Heisman finalist. You know, some people think he should win the award. And he didn't play the second half, and they still boat raced Arizona. They are playing some
Arizona's
good football.
Arizona's also not very
they've had
good.
a rough year, rough year.
And,
But
you know,
still,
Travis
to
Hunter,
get beaten
yeah.
down like that at home, that's wow.
And Travis Hunter, he was a very much a decoy yesterday. I was watching, especially the early part of that game. He just was running like 75% speed. And
By the way, that would have been a great bet where his receiving yards were somewhere around like 100.5.
Oh, taking the
he had
under,
like
yeah.
2 catches for 17
Yeah.
yards. The under would have been a great play.
I last comment this game. I had Colorado over 27.5 points as one of my best bets on my podcast, and that won the first half. But after they scored in the first drive, like super easily, I took an alternate number over 33.5.
And they did
points. No, they got 34. But they only scored 6 second half points. They had 28 first half points.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
And I needed a field goal with 4 minutes left to get the 34 points.
Hey, cashed. It got there. Doesn't matter how.
I had a interesting college football day. So
Yeah.
it was fun.
Hey, it's football time at BetMGM. Use code COUNTDOWN and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, signature bets, and the best daily promotions in the business. Download the BetMGM app today or visit BetMGM.com. Use code COUNTDOWN to receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if that bet loses. We are off and running. We've got the Patriots ahead 10-0 against Jacksonville. How about the Jacksonville Steam before this game? Got all the way to -7 for Jacksonville. Yeah.
If you put your money on Jacksonville today, that's a you problem.
That's that would qualify right there. We've got Bill Krakenberger from crackwins.com, sports handicapper. Jeff Schwartz, 8-year NFL veteran. I'm Brian Noe. Coming up next, our main man Christian Cipollini from BetMGM. He'll preview Week 7, get you all the goodies in terms of what BetMGM is needing today. Valuable information. We'll get that from him coming up. It's Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM.
Our NFL coverage is different. It's better. Before the games.
Is this line telling us something?
After the games.
Are they still the favorite in the NFC?
The numbers don't lie. All season, the sounds of the NFL live here. We're Fox Sports Radio.
It's football time at BetMGM. Use code COUNTDOWN and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register at BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, signature bets, and the best daily promotions in the business. Use code COUNTDOWN and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. This U.S. promotional offer not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. Or visit www.1800gambler.net in West Virginia. Subject to eligibility requirements, rewards, or non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and
If
Hotel.
you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
With all the uncertainty in the economy, the pre-election wobbles, is my money really safe? That's when I discovered the power of a gold IRA from Noble Gold Investments. It's a tangible asset that can help protect your wealth when times get tough. And with Noble Gold Investments, it was so easy to roll over my existing IRA into a self-directed gold IRA. Their experts guided me through every step. I've diversified my retirement portfolio with something real. Don't wait for the election uncertainty to threaten your financial security. Vote for the timeless safety of gold and silver in 2024. Oh, and hear this. They're giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account. Just visit noblegoldinvestments.com now and use the promo code TRUMP. That's noblegoldinvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hey guys.
Ready? Jason Smith and Mike Harmon are dropping knowledge like this.
Troy Aikman had a different take on the Cowboys wideouts.
But I think the routes are terrible. I think they run terrible routes, and I've thought that beyond this year. And I think CeeDee's got to improve in his route running. And as a quarterback, if you're not certain where guys are going to be consistently, it's hard to play the position. And so that's what I see. I see guys lazy coming off the line of scrimmage. Sometimes they run. Usually if they do, it's because they're anticipating they're going to get the football on that play. But if they're not, they don't. And it all ties together. And so I'm not impressed with that part of it. As a former quarterback watching it, it's got to get a lot better.
96.7 The Ticket in Dallas. Troy Aikman just completely torching.
Let's go.
The Cowboys wide receiver, mentioning CeeDee Lamb by name. And look, let me throw something out there, too. Let me throw something out there, right? Because we talked about a guy, if he does. Let me talk about this. Troy Aikman, Cowboys head coach.
Oh, that'd be great.
Troy Aikman, new Cowboys head coach.
That would be fantastic.
All right. Now, throughout his time with the people don't know this, but throughout his time with the Cowboys, he was always someone who would call out his teammates on the sideline. He would call out bad blocking. He would call out when something's not being done right. Like, that was Troy. He wasn't this, hey, man, great. No, he was like, hey, your blocking is for crap, and it's blankety blank, and it sucks, and it's this, and it's that. He was that kind of guy. And you see Troy, and you see him say and talk about the Cowboys like they say, listen, you're all lazy getting off the line. And anywhere you look today, hey, let's see if Troy Aikman is right. Oh, boy, guess what? He is right. You can see any number of plays from the past couple weeks where...
To get the rest of what Jason Smith and Mike Harmon said, podcast it by searching The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. And as always, you can hear The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. Y'all realize The Odd Couple is loved.
I love you.
I mean, just listen to these people.
Hey, your show sounds great.
I want to welcome Calvin. Welcome, Calvin. You're bringing in some youthful energy to The Odd Couple.
They can't get enough of The Odd Couple.
You know, the new iteration of The Odd Couple is great to see.
Rob Parker, Calvin Washington, a show that no one can miss. Check it.
Hold up.
It's The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Calvin Washington. You can hear them right here. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Let's make the complicated simple.
Colin Cowherd.
Are you ready?
Colin Cowherd.
Well, you know how this works, right?
The most interesting man in sports.
We're confusing interesting with great.
Because when he's right, he's right.
A sports and entertainment prodigy.
And when he's wrong, he's also right.
New information equals new opinion.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Making your mornings right. Weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Did you know that we have original podcasts too? Check out Unbreakable with Jay Glazer.
Welcome to Unbreakable, a mental health podcast.
Or Inside the Parker with Rob Parker for you threadheads.
Baseball.
The I Want Your Flex podcast with Dan Beyer and Mike Harmon for Fantasy Junkies. And what about everything Up on Game presents offers? Want more Ben Maller? How about the Fifth Hour podcast? We have a podcast for everyone, and it's all on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
To the end zone.
Welcome to the biggest tailgate party in the nation.
Let's go!
You're locked into Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, and it's presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Once again, here's Brian Noe, 8-year NFL veteran Jeff Schwartz, and sports handicapper from crackwins.com, Bill Crack Krackomberger.
It is Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM. All season long, BetMGM's offering you a second chance on your first touchdown bet in the NFL when a customer places an NFL wager on a first touchdown scorer bet, and he doesn't score first but scores second. BetMGM will return 100% of their stake back in cash. Man, how about this? Jacksonville finally on the board. They scored a touchdown, easy touchdown reception by Brian Thomas Jr., and Jacksonville now trails 10-7 against the Patriots in London. With that, let's dive into this.
Follow the money.
Real good money.
All right, Christian Cipollini, our good friend from BetMGM, trading manager, joins us here. Christian, good morning to you. You know, how about this steam with Jacksonville? Got all the way up to a 7-point favorite. How much of the handle are we looking at percentage-wise on Jacksonville in this one as the Patriots have the lead right now?
Yeah, we're liking what this score is right now because with that steam came most of our bets on Jacksonville, which seemed to be expected even though they're both 1-5 teams. I think Jacksonville, as you see by the 7-point spread, is the better team on paper. We took a lot of Patriots bets, though, so we're hoping this outcome holds. That touchdown a second ago we didn't like. We're hoping Pats can get a little more.
Maybe the game of the day is Super Bowl rematch. Niners and Chiefs. This number's kind of been moving between 1 and 2 for the Niners. The Chiefs and Mahomes cover a lot of games when they're dogs. Where's the money at in this one?
Yeah, that line of thinking is certainly out because we've taken a good amount of Chiefs bets. As of right now, we'll be rooting for the 49ers, which I think is a little bit, somewhat surprising at home. I mean, Super Bowl rematch, I guess, could go either way. Right now, we're taking more Chiefs bets, though.
Christian, good morning. We get a early morning sportsbook insights by John Ewing, and he sent us this, and I want to just see if this is still the case here with BetMGM. The most bet teams, the most amount of tickets bet by the public, and then the handle, which is also up in the top 3 here, the Lions. You know, I haven't met one person yet that likes the Minnesota Vikings this week. So is that one of the heaviest bet games? Your guys are going to be rooting for Minnesota today. Is that still the case?
Yeah, that's been the case this entire season. The Lions have been the darling of taking bets. So, I mean, I'm sure for us, a lot of that just comes from Michigan bettors. Our futures market, Lions are our worst outcome. They've been our worst outcome throughout the summer. We continue to still take bets on them. This line was at 2.5 at one point, but again, we've taken majority Lions bets on this, as you've said. You haven't seen a lot of people talking Vikings. I haven't seen a lot of people betting the Vikings. So we'll be rooting for the Vikings as a book, but it's been all Lions bets.
Okay. How about outside of the one-way traffic, Christian, where you think about all this money coming in on the Rams, all the money coming in on the Commanders? Is there anything beyond those obvious ones where it's a need for BetMGM today that you'd like to see a certain team win or cover?
When I get to the closer spreads, like the ones within 3, the Giants will be a big one for us this week. We've taken a good amount of Eagles bets. I'm somewhat surprised. We talked about the Giants last week with getting Neighbors back. I thought we might see a little bit more, but as of right now, that's one of the closer spreads. Well, it'd be nice if we can get a Giants win there.
A lot of high totals today with some of these games, being played inside and whatnot. Minnesota and Detroit and Seattle and Atlanta. Are you seeing anyone willing to take the under in those games? Or are you seeing pretty much over money in those dome games with good offenses?
Yeah, even with those high totals, all those games are still getting hit over. Lions Vikings is a good one that has a very high total, but we're taking nothing but over bets, especially with the fact that they scored, 49 on their own last week. Total's 50.5 right now. So I think people think that Detroit could do it on their own if they wanted to. I mean, in general now, even if we were taking unders bets with all these SGPs, I'd always prefer less touchdowns and less points at this point because we don't want any of those crazy ones hitting, like we saw last week in Detroit with basically all their skill players scoring touchdowns.
Christian, I had to do something yesterday. Very rarely have to do, and I hate to do. I had to go down and put money in my BetMGM account. Oh God, it's been a good season, like a decent season, and then all of a sudden last week, boy, usually when the bookmakers are hurting, I'm hurting. So I know Week 6 was a rough week. Looking at tomorrow night's card, Arizona Chargers, Baltimore, Tampa Bay. Anything early, or you'll get most of your, and even tonight, Pittsburgh Jets, these primetime games, not the prettiest kind of primetime games. No real, I guess maybe Baltimore, Tampa, but no real big names in these three games. Any action yet? I guess you'll expect it more towards game time.
Yeah, with those, I mean, we'll expect it more towards game time. I know that Chargers line has come down a bit. It was at 2.5. So we saw a little bit there. We have taken more Jets action in tonight's game. A lot of that probably stems just from people being excited with Devontae Adams. So we'll definitely want the Steelers in that one. That's a very low total as well. We'll want that to stay under. I think tomorrow's Ravens-Bucks matchup is one that could be potentially troubling for the book, and I expect to see a lot of points in that one. Primetime games with a lot of points and a lot of touchdown scores is not good for the book.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, Christian, great stuff as always, man. Hope you have a good day, and we'll catch you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Good luck, everyone, this week.
Yeah.
There you go. There's Christian Cipollini, BetMGM trading manager. Yeah, that's a great statement at the end. Think about that, too. Crack, you talk about it all the time where maybe Monday night rolls around. If anybody out there is a little bit under the number, right, you try to win it back on Monday night, and
Sure.
a potential shootout with the Ravens in Tampa. You can imagine the number of bets for anytime touchdowns and all that. So, yeah, the bookmakers, I can see them like bracing for impact when there's a scenario like that. I like that statement at the end. How about we go from heavy hitter to heavy hitter? We go from Christian Cipollini to our main man, Isaac Lowenkron, with the latest. What's going on, Ilo?
Good morning, fellas, and it's always wonderful to talk about live football action, even if it is the Jaguars and the Patriots. Right now at Wembley Stadium in London, the two 1-5 teams having at it, and the Patriots have a 10-7 lead over Jacksonville with 7:09 left in the second quarter. Patriots built a 10-0 lead on a 16-yard touchdown pass from Drake May to Jermichael Hasty, then added a field goal, but then the Jaguars got on the board.
Shotgun for Trevor. 3 to the right. They're all bunched there. 1 to the left is Gabe Davis. Trevor drops. Looking. Fires toward the goal line. But he caught for the touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr. for the score.
Frank Frangie the call on WJXL. Lawrence 6 of 7 for 64 yards. Drake May 11 of 14 for 94 yards. And again, the Patriots a 10-7 lead over Jacksonville with 7:09 left to play in the second quarter. One other note, Jacksonville left tackle Cam Robinson ruled out due to a concussion. New York Jets pass rusher Hassan Reddick has ended his holdout. According to his new agent, Reddick's agreed to a reworked short-term contract. He's now expected to report to the Jets on Monday. In Game 5 of the American League Championship Series on Saturday night, Juan Soto's 3-run home run with 2 outs at the top of the 10th inning gave the New York Yankees a 5-2 victory at Cleveland to win the American League pennant 4-1. Their 41st pennant, their first in 15 years. And in college football on Saturday night, 5th-ranked Georgia won at number 1 Texas 30-15. Guys, all yours.
Thank you, Ilo. It is Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM. Let's dive into this. Little live betting, fellas, shall we? We've got the game in Wembley, or in London, right? Is it Wembley? They're at Wembley, aren't they?
I think so.
I always get it mixed up where they are in London there, but
they're across the pond.
They're across there. There you go. 10-7 lead by the Patriots right now, and I don't know, Crack. You got your eye on anything in game here?
Oh boy, I tell you, this Jacksonville team, they bother me. They really do.
Yeah,
I got them in my
that's
contest thinking I was laying 5.5 in all my contest picks. I'm a genius. Game went to 7, and then to wake up to see this, 7-0 New England, now 10-7. If anything, yeah, I guess give me the other side of that. Now it's 3.5 minus 25. Jacksonville's the favorite. I still say I'm going to go on the other side of this now and just say grind out game. I just hate this Jacksonville team. Maybe New England, if anything, but I'm not forcing it. I'm not betting it, but if anything, I would look to that side right now because people are saying, "Oh, Jacksonville's coming back." They react with their eyes, and our eyes play tricks on us.
Interesting. You eyeing anything here, Jeff? I'm looking at props and everything. Yeah.
The only thing I would look at is like maybe a Trevor Lawrence overpass attempt. He's got only 7 right now, but it's at 31.5. Like if they get down this game, throw the ball, but maybe. I don't know. I don't think they're going to score very much in the second half of this game. New England doesn't move the ball terribly well, but Jacksonville's defense is so bad. I said, I'm like, you are what your record says you are, and I think Jacksonville's just not. They're just not good, and I couldn't put a single cent on Jacksonville more than I have at any game this season. I'm just out on Jacksonville.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing I love. I was looking at.
Oh wow! Trevor just completed like a 70-yard pass.
Yeah, big play. I see the live line the live line goes to -5.5, -20. So I knew something happened. The total
Brian
went
Thomas
to 48.5.
Jr. Yeah, nice little seam. It was a great play.
Jacksonville, baby.
Yeah, I was saying I was looking at Tank Bigsby, and he still might get there. It's locked right now. It was at 55.5 his rushing yards. I don't love the news of Cam Robinson being out, but I think as this game goes along, he's going to get a lot of carries. So I could see Tank Bigsby getting there, but he just had a small rush of 3 yards, so I don't know what the new line is on that. Before the monstrous 3-yard gain, it was 55.5. I don't know how many carries Ramondre Stevenson is going to get. 41.5. I know this is Jacksonville's defense, but he might not get there. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get past 41.5. But nothing I love. Nothing I love, guys. How about later today, as the day goes along? Anything that you're eyeing for potential in-game spots?
Yeah.
Crack, we'll start with you. Anything that you like here?
Nothing really up front. I always say that just like I finished my last statement with, our eyes do play tricks on us. What happens is someone's watching a game and, especially a favorite, like maybe I'll use a Buffalo over Tennessee, and they see Buffalo come right out 7-0. Well, immediately they say, oh, I know this Tennessee team's terrible. And by the way, I do think they're terrible, of course. But, oh, my God, I got to jump on Buffalo here. Well, you're going to pay a tax if you're playing these marquee or public favorites. You're going to pay a little bit of a tax when you do that. So just think about that. Just try to put yourself in the book's position. What they want, they want you to bet Buffalo. They want you to bet Buffalo because you're going to be laying an extra half a point and probably extra juice on what the real number is. So the algorithm comes up. It's adjusted manually with some marquee or key teams, and not all the sports books, but a lot of them do that. So. The Square sports book. So just keep that in mind when you're playing live, and don't let your emotion make your decision. That's all betting, but especially live betting.
I would look to taking points in some games today if, like, for example, the Niners get out and score first. I get Kansas City at a much better number plus the points. I would look to do that. That's how I would play some of these games. Like, let's say the Texans score first, and I like Green Bay. I could get probably a good money line number on Green Bay in that game. So there's little, I think, moves to make like that throughout today, where let's say the Lions score first in Minnesota, get the Vikings plus a couple points in that game. Like I think there's spots like that in today's action where you can find situations. Like if the Lions score first, think about it. Lions score first. We don't know what that defense will look like without Aiden Hutchinson, guys. We have no idea. And now, all of a sudden, you get points in Minnesota against the Lions defense, and we don't know what they're going to be. Jacksonville, by the way, in the end zone touchdown. Yep. That to me feels like a way that you could play that.
Yeah, by the way, Tank Bigsby, it was the Bigsby show. He had 3 carries in a row and got it into the end zone there. So he's up to 39 yards rushing. So that's the thing, man. In game, you better jump on it in the right spot because, like I said, it was 55.5. And he's going to get his carries.
Live line back to 7. So back to the pre-flop number here.
Yeah, there you go. What are you thinking pre-flop here, Crack, huh? Jacksonville's got the momentum.
Jesus.
What do you think, Crack,
Oh,
huh?
God. I mean, New England's up 10-0. They should be embarrassed to let them come right down with 2 unanswered touchdowns like that, right down the field with that giant pass. And these are 2 ugly teams. It really is a tough thing to wake up first thing Sunday morning, 6:30 in the morning to bet this game, and now people are getting up across the country 7:30 a.m. and seeing this game on. I just don't know how much live wagering will be induced because of these 2 big public teams being sarcastic.
Yeah, no, I got you, Craig. Yeah. Real fast, you said something interesting. I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit here, where let's say in that Buffalo game, right? Tennessee stinks, and Buffalo jumps up 7-0. And you said, hey, the books, they want you to bet Buffalo.
Yes.
walk us through your thinking here, where I know you're going to, if anything, it's in that situation, it's Titans or punt. But are there other times where you say, hey, listen, this is just the way the game is going to go, right? You understand what I'm saying? Where you will look for what has happened to continue happening to a greater degree.
And I will tell you, it's hard to believe after 6 weeks of football, I would even say something like this. Boy, I am just sick and tired of Tennessee. I am sick and tired of it.
Everyone is, buddy.
I really am. Like, there's actually a 10 on the board, dog 15. And I'm supposed to, the old Bill Krackomberger, it says, wow, 10 points when there's 9s on the screen. What a public sports book taking all this money, moving it to 10. Wow, this is a great spot for Tennessee. I did not pull the trigger on them. I am just sick of this team. So it would be hard for me to pull the trigger. Usually no emotion gets in any way of betting. The line's going to be the line the next week based on what happened the previous week, plural weeks. So, but this, just to go back to this actual situation of Team A versus Team B, saying it wasn't Tennessee or, yes, you're going to, I always look to what the book needs. But then again, you guys will be surprised by this probably. In the first half of a game, when the half times come in second halves of the NFL games, there's more spots where I bet the team that's winning than the opposite of that, the team to come back, because the public thinks, especially if it's a big name team, they got to come back, so they got to come back in this spot, so if it's automatically though, I'll go by what's happening because I know what the implied odds are of the second half betting. And a lot of times, if it's a public marquee team, you want to wait. You don't want to jump on the line. You want to wait 10 minutes into the halftime until the public's done pounding that, I don't want to say square favorite, but for lack of a better word, that square play. You want to wait until you have a couple minutes left to be able to bet because you want to make sure you get the best line and the public will be betting the other way. So I look, believe it or not, I do look to the team that's winning to probably continue winning in order for me to bet them. So that's the way I bet second halves, and it's been pretty successful for my lifetime, and especially this year, there's been some really good spots for second halves where the team winning is being bet against the second half, and they could continue to win. So that's my take.
It makes me think.
I think that's a good way. I do that too. You contrarian on some of those plays. It works well.
Yeah, no doubt. You go back to week 3, there were 8 underdog winners, right? At week 4, there were 7 underdog winners, and some of these teams are just gross teams. And to your point, Crack, and what you just said, Jeff, yeah, you think, hey, big brand name, they're going to come back. They were favored by 8. They're going to at least win this game. And sometimes it doesn't work out. It hasn't been the same way the last 2 weeks. So week 5, only 3 underdog winners. Last week, only 2 underdog winners. But something to keep in mind. We hit a spree in weeks 3 and 4. Good Lord, in just those 2 weeks, 15 underdog winners, like outright winners when they're underdogs heading into the game. So.
I don't want to tell you how much money the sports books made during that period because they're doing a little bit of crying because of last week, but they cannot lose back. That's right. They cannot lose back the money they have made during the first 4 weeks this season, even 5 weeks. It's impossible. Forget it. Give the Christmas bonuses out. Give those $25 turkeys out and Walmart gift cards. Give them out because they're not losing that money back.
That's why you don't have the collection bucket, right?
That's right.
That's exactly right.
The bucket's not out yet, but it may be. They're crying a little bit.
All right, we've got Bill Krackomberger from crackwins.com, sports handicapper. Jeff Schwartz, 8-year NFL veteran. Also a limo driver on the side, as we found.
Always. I'm a taxi service.
Cab service there, yeah. I'm Brian Noe. Coming up next, the Parlay Platter. We'll each have one selection for you, group it together for a greater payout. It's on the way. It's Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM.
You're listening to the biggest tailgate party in the nation.
The excitement is real. The anticipation is legit.
Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks.
This is a football 101 for everybody.
Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff.
It's time for football at BetMGM. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, exclusive bets, and the best daily promotions in the business. Plus, when you huddle up with BetMGM at your fingertips, every pass, every catch, and every game matter more than ever. Football is back. Don't miss out on any of the hard-hitting action. Place your money line prop and parlay bets with BetMGM today.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. For West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary by market and expire within 24 hours. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
They have a lot of fun things that go on in the morning.
This is the show that has two pros and a cup of Joe.
Who is Joe?
LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox.
Big day for Sports Talk Radio. Big week, as a matter of fact, for Sports Talk Radio in Dallas. Now, Fox Sports Radio affiliate, The Ticket, in Dallas, you know, they don't need Jerry Jones or Stephen Jones to get all pissy about questions that are being asked. They go to a Hall of Famer, another Hall of Famer in Troy Aikman.
It's hard to play the position if you're not certain how guys are going to run routes or where they're going to be. And I'm not speaking for Dak. Dak may say, hey, I think everything's amazing. But as a former quarterback watching it, it's got to get a lot better.
Wow.
Wow.
Open season, baby.
Wow.
By the way, I love the fact that it's their bye week, too. They're probably like, you know what, we could really get this bad taste out of our mouth. We just need to get back on track and get a big win. Nah, gonna let you think about it a little bit.
Yeah, but it gives them extra time to get healthy. They need that. They need their defense to be better. And clearly their receivers need to be better, including CD Lamb. Dang. You know, that's interesting that he would give a gut shot to CeeDee Lamb after there's been so much made about how frustrated it appears that CeeDee Lamb gets with Dak Prescott. And now it's like kind of like you get a GOAT putting it in the perspective that he's putting it in, and he's holding those receivers, including CeeDee Lamb, accountable for.
To get the rest of LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and Jonas Knox. Podcast by searching Two Pros and a Cup of Joe. Listen to Two Pros and a Cup of Joe weekdays from 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
I have good news for Justin Fields. And I think everybody knows Fields is a better quarterback, right? Albert Breer had a bit today. I think he was on with Dan Patrick, and he said that, hey, there's lots of people in the Steelers locker room that don't want to see a quarterback change. But for some reason, Tomlin is bent on this, and I don't know why this itch to scratch is there, because I don't know what he thinks Russell Wilson's going to give the Steelers that Justin Fields doesn't. This is not Russell Wilson looking at the back of his football card. This is not Russell Wilson in 2013 or 2019. This is Russell Wilson coming off an injury. He hasn't played. He doesn't have the escapability. What do you think he's going to bring you that Justin Fields doesn't, right? You got to stick with the guy because Justin Fields is the better choice. So the best news for Justin Fields is he's probably a half or maybe one game from getting back to being a starting quarterback.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
With Colin Cowherd.
So the Denver Broncos hammered the Saints in New Orleans 33-10. It didn't even feel that close. So when you go on the road like the Broncos did, on a short week with a rookie quarterback that didn't play well and win by 3 touchdowns, that's coaching. Dennis Allen may be the worst coach in the league. Sean Payton once again takes a dead franchise. Broncos were a dead franchise and has squeezed every ounce of talent out of them. And again, an offensive coach. We've been on this now for multiple years. This is why I would always prefer to get an offensive coach. I've seen Andy Reid do this twice. I've seen Sean McVay do this. And now I've seen Sean Payton do this. I'm watching that Bronco O-line this year, guard, center, guard. It feels like a top 3 or 4 in the league.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. When you call yourself the premier sports lineup in the nation, you have to back it up. Well, my friends, we do. Check these names. Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, Jonas Knox, Doug Godley. Spectacular. Cavino and Rich, Rob Parker, Kelvin Washington, Ben Maller, Jason Smith, and Mike Harmon. Is that premier enough? Listen to all those names right here. Really? On Fox Sports Radio.
You don't want this smoke?
Kickoffs are coming soon, and we're leading you up to them. This is Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Once again, here's Brian Noe, 8-year NFL veteran Jeff Schwartz, and sports handicapper from CrackWins.com, Bill Crack Krackomberger.
It is Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM. Every time you make a wager at BetMGM, you earn BetMGM rewards points that can be redeemed for things like bonus bets or converted to MGM rewards points that can be used towards dining, shows, and hotel rooms at over 20 MGM resorts. How about Jacksonville real fast with a 97-yard punt return for a touchdown? They're up 22-10. The Patriots, they jumped offside on the extra point, and so the Jags went for 2 and got it. So 22 unanswered points for Jacksonville as they're ahead by 12 here nearing halftime. Let's dive into this.
Check this out. Parlay Platter.
Okay, we each have one selection. We group it together for a greater payout. Crack, we'll start with you, man. What do you like today?
You know what? Give me the Seattle Seahawks +3.
There you go.
You know, a nice rare side here. I think Seattle, after going 3-0 right out of the gate, and then going 0-3 the last 3, I think they need the game more than Atlanta, who's 4-2. I like them to keep it close and possibly win outright. Seattle +3.
Oh, all right. Well, I like that because the voice is on the Falcons. So, and the
voice. Good.
Last week was a very public week. Ooh. A lot of public plays won last week.
Man, all those like road favorites. Good Lord, it's crazy.
Oh man. Oh, the parlay. All right. So I'm not going to put this in there, but I just want to voice my opinion on this one game. I think Buffalo boat races Tennessee.
Really? Yeah.
Buffalo has had a habit of doing 2 things in these games. They either win by 4 touchdowns or they lose. There's no in between. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep things simple. I'm going Chiefs money line +105 here. And let me explain why. I get Christian Cipollini said they need the Niners to win. I'm a Chiefs fan. You guys know this. The Chiefs care about a few things in the regular season. They don't care about playing the Saints on Monday Night Football. They don't care about going to Atlanta. They care about going to San Francisco off a bye and playing their best football and asserting their dominance again over the 49ers. I think we just get a good game from Kansas City here. Their defense is really good, really talented. And the Chiefs just have a habit of sort of winning these team games as a team, right? So give me Chiefs here, money line. I think they win this game, and I'll take them.
Wow, interesting. I did not anticipate that, Jeff. Because,
okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go Niners in the parlay. We're dead already. You know what I mean? So, but we'll.
Oh, you like Niners?
I do like the Niners today.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say, and we'll do the full preview. And listen, man, you can very well be correct about this. Everything you said is on point. Where the Chiefs get up for games like this. One of the things that bothers me about the Chiefs is that Patrick Mahomes has put up mediocre numbers with mediocre weapons. And I don't know that it's going to change today. Think about this. Heading into this week, Trevor Lawrence has a higher passer rating than Patrick Mahomes does. At some point, that's going to come back to bite them. And it could bite them today. So that's the reason I'm on the Niners, but I think it's going to be a good game. I'll go elsewhere in the platter, though. Give me Josh Jacobs. I'll go with a prop on you. I think that with Green Bay's rushing offense, I think they're going to have some success today against the Texans. So I'll look at Josh Jacobs over 64.5 rushing yards to add to the parlay. They've got the number 2 rushing offense in the league, and Jacksonville's rush defense, not bad, a little leaky. I think that mixed with that passing dynamic with Jordan Love, a lot of balance with the Packers attack. I'll take Josh Jacobs over 64.5 rushing yards today. I like that one.
Okay.
There you go. We're going to cash one of these or what?
I hope so.
Yeah. One of these days we're due, I feel like. Okay, Jacksonville with the ball. I thought the Patriots almost had a brief moment of insanity. It was 4th and 3. They were at their own, 35-ish yard line, and they just tried to draw them off sides. But at first, I'm like, are they really doing this? And no, they're just trying to get a free first down. We're heading to halftime, and as of now, it looks like Doug Peterson's going to keep his job for another week, right?
Yeah. Good for everyone else.
They can still fire him after this game. Doesn't matter.
Does he have to fly back commercially?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Team
yes.
flight?
Commercially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Still got to go commercially. After a win, that's hardcore right there. Man, goodness. Okay, real fast, just a little bit of time. Anything in-game crack, or are you just completely punting on this game with Jacksonville?
After we said plus 3.5 New England, they rattled off Jacksonville rattled off 2 touchdowns. That's why it's hard to do spontaneous things like that. No, nothing. The halftime come out, by the way, Jacksonville -2 on the second half, 21. I may have to agree maybe with Jeff, maybe some low-scoring second half, if anything. I'm sure we'll get a 21.5 out here.
There you go. All right, very nice. We'll keep you updated on the London game and get to one of the best matchups of the entire day. Dive into that, including an undefeated team. Can they keep it going?
We are Buffalo.
Football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws a block, and his teammate scores instead. Ugh. But with BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms.
This U.S. promotional offer not available in Ontario or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. For West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
And now, there are some shows you don't want to miss.
Anyway, it's a big story.
And there are some shows you can't miss.
Yes!
This is Covino and Rich.
There is something interesting about baseball, being that there's so many steps to get to the World Series and win the World Series, that 62%, that's how many games the best team in baseball will likely win in each year, right? 62%.
Okay.
The best team. Yeah. The best hockey team wins roughly 65% of their games. In the NBA, best NBA team roughly wins 73% of their games. And the best football team usually wins 80 to 85% of their
Well, then, if the best football team is winning the highest percentage of games, wouldn't that be the opposite of parity? When baseball is 60-something% of the games?
No, because parity meaning there's a lot more competition in baseball. Covino, you could argue in baseball that there's 8 good teams and 20-something that don't have a chance, you know?
Or I could argue that the best team in the NFL wins 85% of the games, but it could be an average team in baseball that if they're hot and they have the momentum, they still have a shot. They still have a chance.
Here's the stat that backs up baseball being the toughest.
Okay, so baseball is the toughest game to win is the point we're making. Based
the stats
on
will show.
Based on the path. Go ahead.
The best baseball team wins the World Series 46% of the time. The best NBA team.
Hey, this is Cheech. And this is Chong, and you're listening to Covino and Rich, so listen up.
To get the rest of what Covino and Rich said, podcast it by searching Covino and Rich. And as always, you can hear Covino and Rich weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
This, keep it on the down low here,
is the Dan Patrick Show.
Well, I mentioned when Aiden Hutchinson went down, I would place a call if I'm the Lions to the Cleveland Browns. I would just kick the tires on Myles Garrett. Now, they might go, click. Or I would call the Raiders and ask about Max Crosby. Because Devontae Adams, we thought was going to be traded. Now you're in a rebuild. Well, Max Crosby was asked about maybe playing elsewhere.
I'm not here to rebuild. I'm here to win.
Well, I wouldn't stay in Vegas then. If I were you, I'd be leaving Las Vegas. I would do what Devontae Adams did. Just say, I'd like to play for a team that's going to compete. Can I do that? Can I help you get some draft picks? Can I help you rebuild? Can I help you get your quarterback? Can I help you with Tom Brady now taking over as a minority owner?
Dan Patrick.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. On Fox Sports Radio. Two pros and a cup of Joe.
The best of the best.
Okay. This is what mornings sound like.
This is the most intriguing content that I've been a part of.
LeVar Arrington.
I was talking so much S that game.
Brady Quinn.
I'll give you the best handoffs you've ever seen.
Cool. And Jonas Knox.
Great heart, generous, caring, perfect.
This is what mornings can do.
That's like an alarm clock.
It's two pros and a cup of Joe. Weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. He's Steve Covino.
I'm slightly vato.
He's Rich Davis.
I may jump through this glass window in the studio.
And they do it all.
Let's talk about all of it.
Radio for the people.
I like that.
Pretty solid.
Your afternoon pick-me-up.
Covino and Rich. All right.
Ooh, yeah. It's Covino and Rich.
No woman's ever told you you're Mariano Rivera in the bedroom. Wait a second.
Weekdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. And here's what you need to know.
At Wembley Stadium in London today, the New England Patriots jumped out to a 10-0 second quarter lead over Jacksonville, but then the Jaguars came roaring back.
Parker will field it all the way back at his 4-yard line to the 10-yard line, right up the middle of the field, 20, 25, 30, into the open field, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Parker Washington just brought it all the way back, and the Jags have extended the lead. How good is that?
Frank Frangie the call on WJXL as that capped off a 22-0 Jacksonville run. They now lead the Patriots at halftime 22-10. New York Jets pass rusher Hassan Reddick has ended his holdout according to his new agent. He's now expected to report to the team Monday. In Game 5 of the American League Championship Series Saturday night, the Yankees advance to the World Series with a 5-2 Game 5 win over Cleveland. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
NFL fans, welcome to the largest tailgate party in the nation.
Woo! Hey, Sharp, right from the beginning,
Get that work in today, huh?
Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. We're setting you up with the information you need to watch your team win.
Victory is the end game.
We're here to break it all down.
Oh, that's hard.
This is Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM. Now, we're live from your tailgate. Here's Brian Noe, 8-year NFL veteran Jeff Schwartz, and professional sports bettor Bill Krackomberger.
Welcome in. It is Countdown to Kickoff here, presented by BetMGM. Getting you all set for Week 7, halftime in London. The Jags out to a 10-0 lead. They find themselves down 22-10. The Patriots. So the Jags are ahead 22-10. I don't know if I said that right, but the Patriots had a lead, and now they don't. They were up a double digits. Now they're down double digits. That's the Patriots for you this year. How about this? We've got the Lions at the Vikings. Vikings trying to remain unbeaten, and they are a point favorite right now at BetMGM. This line has moved quite a bit throughout the week, just up and down, not like crazy, it hasn't jumped out to like, I don't know, Vikings ahead by -4 or anything, but it's gone up and down, a little of a roller coaster ride here. Two things that jump out to me. Jared Goff, not great facing pressure, right? If you get that pass rush in his face, he's affected by it. Record not as good on the road. So we'll see if this Vikings defense, led by Brian Flores, if it can confuse Jared Goff, if they can have some success with those exotic blitzes and all those looks, that they could. The other thing is, I wonder about the Vikings running game because they traded for Cam Akers. Aaron Jones last game in London, he got banged up against the Jets. He missed some practice this week. I don't even know if he's going to go, and if he does go, if he's going to be close to 100%. If the running game isn't very good, and you're looking at the Lions having the number 3 rush defense in the league, that's more on Sam Darnold's shoulders. So just keep that in mind while you're handicapping this game.
All right, so a couple things here. I agree with everything you said. To me, I haven't put anything on this game for a reason. I think Detroit is better than Minnesota. I know the home field advantage matters a little bit in the NFL now, more less than it used to. And Minnesota is a place where it certainly does matter. It's a hard place to play. I don't know what the Lions are going to be without Aiden Hutchinson. It's worth a discussion, right, guys? Because Aiden Hutchinson is their defensive end who broke his leg. Tib Fib hope to have him back next season. When you have a pass rusher like that, what it allows you to do is to rush 4 or even 3 sometimes and put 7 back in coverage or 8 in coverage. And it allows you to pressure the quarterback without having to manufacture pressure, and that keeps more guys in the secondary to defend everyone, right? And then, of course, when you pressure quarterbacks, what do? You force them into mistakes. You force them into sacks, which a negative play, I don't have the percentage in front of me, a negative play, Brian, a hold, a false start, a sack, the amount of times an offense gets a first down is not very high after that. It's hard to overcome those things, right? And so without him there's no one-for-one replacement. You're not like going to bring in, unless you trade for like Max Crosby, right? There's no one-for-one replacement. So how do you generate that pressure? Because if you don't pressure Sam Darnold, he's going to tear you up, okay? They have enough weapons on offense. He's going to make enough plays. Well, if you have to bring extra pressure now, which I mean by bringing a 5th or 6th rusher, that's now 1 or 2 less guys in coverage to double Jefferson. And so, I don't know what the Lions will be defensively, and I'm not sure this is a great game to see what that's going to be like. It's a Vikings team. They're off a bye, if I'm correct, right? So they're off a bye. They're healthy. They're refreshed. Aaron Jones might not play. I get that. But it feels very difficult to look at this Lions team and say, I know what I'm getting. I know I'm getting from Minnesota. I think the Lions are better still. But, Crack, this is why I've not made a wager in this game. I'm just not sure that I trust the Lions quite. I don't know what they're going to be.
I never knew that there would be a situation in life where anyone would say, Sam Darnold will tear you up. And that is this year. This will be the only year on that. And you're right. I mean, it's situational. But let me just tell you something from a handicapping standpoint. Offensively, normally an originator, someone that makes up their own lines, that has power ratings, like my team, we actually have a value on offensive guys, very rarely a defensive guy, where we'll put them equal points. Let's use a giant name in the game. Let's use a Mahomes. And I'll tell you something else. Let's use a Jaden Daniels. If someone like that went down, how many points is that worth to the team? Probably 3. Yes, 3. That's how much. Maybe more. That's how valuable those key positions are. And offensive players, running backs, centers, wide receivers. Very rarely do we go over to the defensive side and say someone's worth something significant anyway. Maybe half a point or something like. Listen, this guy, Hutchinson, just may be worth 2 points to this team. So it's very unusual, very situational. That's how good this kid is. I felt terrible that he went down like that. I really like him anyway. So anyway, let's. This is like one of those classic historical division matches that football fans really look forward to and go crazy for, especially this year. These two teams sitting on top of the NFC. So Lions are coming off one of their best performances of the season. They literally embarrassed the Cowboys last week. Boy, I think that was personal. That was personal. They just went in there and shoved it down Jerry Jones, and he deserves it, his throat. Yeah. And the Vikings have been the best team. Let's just face it, 5-0, the best team. Maybe in football, according to looking like an unbeaten team, and pre-flop, this team was picked to win 6.5 games for the year. That was the over/under. So this is this year's Houston team. This is this year's surprise team. So it's interesting to see if their defense is up to the challenge here. Someone I really respect this week gave out the over earlier in the week, 49.5, and it's not that number no more. I still may lean to the over in this one. I still like the over here. I think a lot of points, especially maybe because maybe because that defense of Detroit is going to be a little challenged this week. So that's what I feel, though. One of the only defensive guys that I know in NFL that's worth an amount of points that are significant. This is him. And we'll see what happens today. I look forward to the game, though. I really do. I don't know anyone. I talk to a lot of people. I don't know anyone on Minnesota. Wow. Everyone loves Detroit this week. So.
That's crazy, too, Crack, where, man, the game, when you put it on the Cowboys by that final score, 47-9, like the game couldn't have gone better as far as the result, but then Aiden Hutchinson goes down, and you're just like, wow, that is such a huge loss for Detroit going forward. And you're right, too, Jeff. I'm really interested to see how that plays out today, specifically against a Vikings team that puts a lot of pressure on you offensively, right? They really do. How about another game that I've got circled here, Seahawks at the Falcons?
Yeah.
And, man, you talk about offensive fireworks, Crack. You might get them in this game, too, because here's the one thing I think of, and Crack, you're on the Seahawks. I like them, too.
Yep.
Where Atlanta's pass rush is non-existent. They do not pressure the quarterback. And Geno Smith is leading the league in passing yards. He averages almost 300 passing yards per game. And so think about that. With no pass rush, Geno could go crazy today. And Seattle's defense has struggled also. They've been giving up nearly 36 points per game the last 3 games. They've been very bad. So Kirk Cousins and that Falcons offense, they're probably going to gain yards, put up points too. This could be a shootout. But when you're getting points and the other team doesn't have an answer for your main strength, they don't have a pass rush against Geno. That's not a good mixture if you're thinking about backing Atlanta here.
A couple things too, guys. Geno Smith in a dome is really good. He's completing 10% more passes in a dome. And his numbers are touchdown interception numbers are like touchdowns through the roof, interceptions way down. And what is this Atlanta team? I don't know. I don't know what they are. They beat Tampa Bay in a game they probably should have lost. They lost the Chiefs. Seattle, Crack mentioned this, like they're sort of due for a win. Are they back? They're not going to lose 4 games in a row, are they? And then the worst person I know who gambles on sports is also on the Falcons. So that feels like a good place to be if we both like Seattle. And I will tell you what, though, we haven't done any bartender talk yet. He's hot, 10-7 this season.
Yes.
And he
this is
went
a lifetime
today,
43% handicapper he's talking about. So.
10-7 this season. So he went today with Commanders, Rams, and Ravens, I believe, was the 3. And the Ravens, I know, play tomorrow. I like Tampa Bay plus 3.5. It most likely will make my crack challenge this week.
Okay.
But I have wagered on the Panthers today, and I have wagered on the Raiders today, and I hate myself for it. But last week was like
ugly teams.
Last week was a square week, man. It was a Joe week.
Was.
And I'm hoping we got a little bounce. I put a little bit of maybe a little more of a unit on it than I normally do. To see if this is the week when it all comes crashing down. But yeah, it's I'm on Seattle plus 3 with you, Crack, as a fade. I think the over hits in this game. I think Seattle plays much better in this game.
The over is a bigger, believe it or not, the over is a bigger play for me. I just haven't got to it yet. So that's, I'm going to tell you right now, but surprisingly, both of these teams do sit atop of their divisions, but both headed, looks like in different directions. Like we said, Falcons won 4 straight. Seattle dropped the last 3. Seattle's been pretty beat up. Their defense has some major holes this season, but they should be getting a few starters back today. The Falcons' offense has really been clicking in the last month. I can't say anything bad. Kirk Cousins looks very comfortable with his new team. I think we're going to get a lot of points in this dome today. So I do like the over in this game. I haven't given it out yet officially here. I did give it out to my Crack Wins guys, but I haven't given it out on the show. We may have that offensive shootout that even Brian said earlier in the segment here. So we'll see what happens.
And that's another reason why I like Seattle is their pressure rate is pretty good. And against Kirk Cousins, if you can pressure the quarterback, you can put some heat on a guy like Kirk Cousins that's not going to buy time, that's not going to extend plays, that gives you an advantage. So if you're on Seattle, you don't need them to win by 3 touchdowns, right? You just need them to cover.
Sure.
And if you can pressure Kirk, I think that plays into your hand. So I think Seattle is an absolute live dog here today. So looking forward to that one. Those are 2 very good matchups. Okay, we've got Bill Krackenberger from crackwins.com. We've got Jeff Schwartz, 8-year NFL veteran. I'm Brian Noe. Be sure to check out the new look and features in the BetMGM app. It's fast and easy access to the sports you love. Whether it's the easy parlay builder, teasers, live betting, the daily National Lions boost, or the new bet slip layout, use code COUNTDOWN and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Download the BetMGM app today or visit BetMGM.com. Use code COUNTDOWN to receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if that bet loses. All right, on the way. Man, these tasty matchups keep rolling on. We'll have another one for you that's not in prime time. We got 3 outstanding matchups. None of them are in prime time. We'll get to one of those 3 coming up. It's Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM.
We know our college football. Just ask our college football Hall of Famer.
I was out there. You called me Thumper Arrington, man.
Thanks, LeVar. All season. When college football is on, so are we. We are Fox Sports Radio.
It's football time at BetMGM. Use code COUNTDOWN and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register at BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, signature bets, and the best daily promotions in the business. Use code COUNTDOWN and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. This U.S. promotional offer not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. Or visit www.1800gambler.net in West Virginia. Subject to eligibility requirements, rewards, or non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino
Harley
and Hotel.
Hudson here. I'm turning 79 this year. And you know what comes with age? Wisdom. Like choosing to get an RSV vaccine. RSV is a highly contagious virus that can land older adults in the hospital. Adults like me, 75 or older, or those 60 or older with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or diabetes. Check eligibility and schedule an RSV vaccine at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve? Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine? Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Well, I do now. Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Yeah, you just said that. Did you say I just said that? Yeah, I'm cutting you off. Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
And now, here's a little something that you missed from the Ben Maller Show.
This thing is going to drag on and on.
Here we go.
Raiders owner Mark Davis, he's the guy with the funny hair. Mark Davis tried to end the rampant speculation, not just the grassroots movement, but the speculation regarding the future of Max Crosby when he told reporters that Max Crosby will not be going anywhere. He called the noise not true. That's a quote, not true. Said it's just not happening. So Mark Davis was not very convincing on this side of the microphone. I don't know about where you sit, but on this side, not too convincing. And here's why, right? Max Crosby, you'd say, this is a guy who should play for the Raiders his entire career and all that. And, he's got the whole persona. He's got that Raider thing down pat. Like he was born to be a Raider, right out of Central Casting. Right? He's down to the tattoos, the whole thing. But regardless of that, Mark Davis not convincing because just the tone. There's something about the tone. I don't even play it for you. You didn't hear it, but trust me, the vibe I got, the aura from Mark Davis was, well, I'm saying there's a shot here. Everyone's got a price, and if the price is right, we'll make something happen, right? And I do believe no one's untradeable, right? The idea that no one, there's anyone in the NFL that cannot be traded. Well, Mahomes will never be traded and all that. And you say, well, that's the one guy, but everyone else is in play there and all that. But at some point, Mahomes gets a little older and injuries start piling up. It wouldn't be impossible to see a scenario where he ends up.
To get the rest of what Big Ben said, podcast it by searching The Ben Maller Show. And as always, you can hear The Ben Maller Show weekdays from 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. Ben Maller.
The General of Degenerates has arrived.
Heard of him?
I've worked with Ben for a long time, and he has all these wild takes and flies off the handle, and, I got to kind of bring him back down. It doesn't work, but I try.
The man is a living monument to ineptitude.
He's Ben Maller, and he's talking all night long.
So I've got Vin Diesel,
Kangaroo Court, and Tommy Lasorda. It's the Ben Maller Show. Weeknights at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
3, 2, 1.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
I think when you're looking at legacy now, which is what this is. Who wants a piece of me?
It's sports.
We'll see if we can upset a fan base today.
Oh, yeah. It's life.
My wife goes, what are you going to do, watch football? Mm-hmm.
It's the Dan Patrick Show.
Yeah. In the right offense, he can be that player.
Bringing sports and life together.
Man, I love doing this job.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
It's amazing.
Here's a statement you can take away.
When it comes to talking, we can't shut up.
We believe in real talk.
Are we talking about it?
Yeah. We won't shut up.
It's loud.
I know what the hell I'm talking about.
As a matter of fact, we do more than talk.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we sing.
It's raining dogs. Hallelujah.
We yell.
What do you want to do? We got to keep our composure. Relax. This is baloney.
We are Fox Sports Radio. The premier sports lineup in the nation.
to the end zone.
Welcome to the biggest tailgate party in the nation.
Let's go!
You're locked into Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff. And it's presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Once again, here's Brian Noe, 8-year NFL veteran Jeff Schwartz, and sports handicapper from crackwins.com, Bill Crack Krackomberger.
Be on the lookout for no sweat same game parlay tokens and parlay boost tokens, just to name a couple. Be sure to follow BetMGM across all socials at BetMGM. Field goal by Jacksonville. They're up 25-10 right now. About 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. We've got the Texans at the Packers today. Packers 3-point home favorites. And man, I love this. I love this matchup. I think this is a great matchup. Very much looking forward to it. I think, listen, it sounds like a cop-out to talk about turnovers or takeaways. We know how important it is to protect the football, but that's what the Packers defense has been living on. They're first in the league in takeaways with 17. They're third in interceptions. They've gotten 9 interceptions this season. And if you're just able to simply protect the football, C.J. Stroud typically does a great job of that. The Green Bay passing offense, a little leaky, 25th in the NFL. So it's like if you're not turning the ball over, you can find some success against Green Bay's defense. The trick is just protecting the ball. That's step one for the Texans today.
It is. And, Stroud's been a little bit looser with the ball last couple of weeks of this season compared to last year. Houston has sort of not hit their stride yet. Offensively, Brian, they have not been what they were last year, right? And does that happen on the road today? Also, too, we got the dome team, outside, and it's Green Bay. Last week the weather was kind of crummy in Green Bay. This is a game where I sort of think the number is good. Like I don't think there's an advantage in any direction. I think if it's +3, because it really has not been 3 most of the week, I would take the Texans plus the 3 points. If it was Green Bay -1, maybe I look at Green Bay. I mean, it could be that simple in this game, Crack. I don't have a great lean. I think it's a really good football game. It'll tell us both about both. Look, the NFC North right now, with how good it is, I think the Packers are just as good as the other teams in the North. I think the Bears are kind of 4th in my mind, and then so Green Bay wins this game. I mean, they get elevated tremendously. And I think Houston wins this game. They're 6-1 now. I don't view them in the same light as the Chiefs or the Bills or the Ravens in the AFC, Crack, but I think it's gonna be a really good game. I don't have much on this other than I'm fading the voice who has Green Bay -3.
Yes, no, that means a lot to me. Like I know it's
last week was a bad fade week. I'll tell you what, it was not a good fade week last week.
But everyone lost. Every sharp syndicate group I know lost. The bookmakers, most of them all lost on Sunday. So it was just that obscure rogue week that I throw out and have to probably just go right back to betting. Like I always say every week. I said I was just about to say I'm a broken record. Just as good finding a bad handicapper as it is a good handicapper, and the voice certainly is a bad one. So, matter of fact, let's actually give out those picks. What, Jeff? The voice is on Green Bay, also on
Atlanta, and then this is also a wager that you have given out this week via Crack Wins. AJ Brown over receiving yards.
Yeah.
So,
stick my head in the sand.
Yeah. She might be part of the service, Crack. You don't know.
No, it could be, especially this real cute basic strategy Wong teaser. Lions +7.5, Chiefs +8.5.
Yeah.
Trust me, the voice isn't coming up with that pick on there.
So for example, I think the Chiefs are going to cover that number, but I did take the Vikings -8 in adjusted line to cover that teaser number on the Lions side, because I just think that, to Brian's point earlier, like there's a scenario where the Vikings defense just bombards Jared Goff and makes it really hard for him. There's a legit scenario where that happens, and they lose that game by 10, and it's 27-17, and it's just that's what it is, and the Vikings continue to roll. I don't think the Chiefs are losing by 9 points or more. But this is the most basic teaser of all time. Every square is doing this teaser today. I'm waiting for the other one to post the wagers too, because that's you'll like this, Crack. Look, maybe we spend too much time on this, but there are influencers who post their gambling picks to the internet. And I'm not saying I've been perfect. My college record this year is not great. NFL is even worse. Crack Challenge is doing well, though. I should probably just wager on all the Crack Challenge plays.
There you go.
And
just wait till 10 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah,
You're good.
Just wait till 10 minutes before I get to all my wagers in. And like this one individual puts down a lean and then just counts the leans for wins when they win, and then doesn't count them when they lose. So it's just
disgusting.
It's just the business, man. It's kind of crazy,
the
right?
business of influencers that literally have their own graveyards here of sports betting people that follow.
I just wish it would work like that at the betting window. You know,
That's
you
right,
lose.
Brian.
It's just a lean. You know,
that was just a lean. That didn't count. I mean, give my money back.
Man.
But and what we're talking about here, guys that have just joined us, there's a on Twitter at Chicken X Dinner is one of them.
The bartender, yeah.
The bartender, and the bartender I love, very transparent. 90 and 114, 44%, yet 10 and 7 so far year to date. And I love every week there's always a quote, big line. Someone's a lock or someone's a kill. This week is Carolina is cooked, quote unquote. Again, so they're on Washington, Rams, and Baltimore, having a good year, which I expect to return to the mean and have a bad year. But just to have a little say on this Houston game, it's another game today that two teams, legitimate chance at. I'm going to tell you something. I heard someone give this out about a month ago, and about Green Bay, and I actually went Green Bay to make the playoffs, taking juice, which is you're not going to get now. But a big chance to win it all this year. Even Houston, who knows? This is the year of where every team just seems like all these. There's not one standout team. Maybe Kansas City, but they're underdog today. So both of these teams looking better and better each week. Texans' defense has been great this season, but this is probably their biggest test today. So they like to pressure quarterbacks, create mistakes, but Jordan Love has been under great pressure this year and still can create that big play. So. Can Houston keep up with this team for all 4 quarters? I don't know. It should be a really good game. It's one place I always wanted to go for a game, believe it or not. I always wanted to go to Lambeau, but I want to go like ice bowl-ish. I want to go like cold, freezing. I don't know why. Maybe I'm nuts. I just want to be there in one of those Lombardi type kind of games.
I made it there once, Crack.
Did you?
Yeah, it was my birthday about 10 years ago. Went there with my mom. It was a great time. And it turned into Jay Cutler was hurt, and so Josh McCown was in there, and that was the game where Aaron Rodgers also got hurt, and so Seneca Wallace stepped in. It quickly turned into Josh McCown versus Seneca Wallace is the game that I saw about roughly 10 years ago or so. But it was still great, and it was fun. Like the day before we toured the stadium, and the atrium is like great. All new school, and it's blended, of course, with the history and the tradition and the old school stuff. So you would love it, man. I highly suggest going.
I literally was at Vince Lombardi's grave last week. I was in Middletown, New Jersey, and my parents are in the same cemetery as him, so I don't mean to get so dark on the show, but it's just so cool going to the there's always like a different helmet, like a Fordham helmet was there this week. There's always something different there, and it's just one of the greats of the game as people get older and people start forgetting how great of a coach he was and how great the Green Bay Packers were back then, and trying to return to the glory this year with Jordan Love. So we'll see what happens today.
Well, I've got 3 ways to, kind of like liven the show up, if you will.
Yeah,
good. Because it got dark for a second. Yeah. So, one, it was my mom's birthday yesterday.
Hey, happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy birthday to her. It's happy birthday to Bo Benson, our trusted producer.
Oh,
here.
there we go.
Wow,
yeah.
Bo.
Happy birthday, Bo.
Come out to Vegas, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Did he play his own drop? I hope he did for himself.
No, that was Chris, but I like that idea of, just play your own drops here on this show. And one of the best ways to liven things up is one Isaac Lowenkron, known as the life of the freaking party.
That's right.
I-Lo here with the latest.
I'll be hopping out of the birthday cake for Bo and Brian's mom.
Yes. Thank you for that visual.
Yeah, please no.
You know what they say, radio is theater of the mind. Well, feeling equal horror right now, fans of the New England Patriots. How was that for a segue? Because today at Wembley Stadium in London, they jumped out to a 10-0 lead over the Jacksonville Jaguars. But since then, the Jaguars have reeled off 25 in a row, including here.
Parker fields it all the way back at his 4-yard line to the 10-yard line, right up the middle of the field, 20, 25, 30, into the open field, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Parker Washington just brought it all the way back, and the Jags have extended the lead. How good is that?
96-yard punt return for a touchdown. Frank Frangie the call on WJXL. So Jacksonville up 25-10 over the Patriots with 2 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Jacksonville quarterback Trevor Lawrence has completed 15 of 19 for 193 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions. New York Jets pass rusher Hassan Reddick has ended his holdout, according to his new agent. Reddick's agreed to a reworked short-term contract. He's now expected to report to the team on Monday. On Saturday night, the New York Yankees won the American League pennant, defeating the Cleveland Guardians 5-2 in Game 5 of the American League Championship Series on a dramatic 3-run home run with 2 outs in the top half of the 10th inning by Juan Soto. Here's something new. Let's listen to the call of Soto's pennant-winning home run in Spanish.
Oh, it's the best.
Soto, swing, elevado, profundo por el central, atrás lo va buscando, Chávez a la pared, olvídala, esta se va, y se fue, Soto la botó, échale sazón, eso es un jonrón, el Sotomático, posiblemente apuesta a los Yankees a la Serie Mundial.
I love it. Sotomático. Back to you guys.
That's awesome right there. So
Brian,
cool.
I love radio calls of home runs.
Oh, man.
I grew up listening to Vince Scully, and I'm not even a
love
Dodgers fan.
Scully.
I felt very fortunate. But just,
oh my God.
I just have an affinity for like baseball and radio because the Giants, I'm a Giants fan, and the Giants play-by-play guys are maybe the best in the whole
Oh,
business.
they are.
Like,
They're so good.
They're so good, Kuip and Kruko. And like, even listening to John Sterling, who's doing the games for the Yankees in the postseason right now, 85 years old. The other night when he called the back-to-back home run, like I haven't even looked up his call from last night. I'm sure I could find it in a second. It's so good.
Yeah,
because
it is great.
and then even I'll give you even a shout like the TBS call the other night for the Indians, the big Christmas home run.
Oh, yeah.
Like I just because baseball is one of those sports where the tension in the postseason is unlike, I think, any other sport because every pitch feels like it matters a lot. Where in other sports, you have lulls. Like 3rd and 12 at the -20, you can kind of be like, okay, we're probably just going to punt the ball. And like you can just baseball, there's no relaxing ever. There's never relaxing. Every pitch can be a home run, can be a single, anything can happen on a pitch. And the radio calls, I feel like the excitement of those calls reflects the tension being cut by a big play.
Yeah, and I think also where you think about it, at the end of the day, the Yankees won in 5, right? But there were a lot of moments in that series where the huge home run by Soto, my girlfriend's last name, you guys have met her. Her last name is Soto. And so if anyone says Soto, she's watching, she's like, Soto!
Did you get her Juan Soto jersey? Uniform?
I need to. We joke around that's her cousin. You know, it's not, but that's what we joke. Same last name, and he went yard. But man, the big Christmas home run, that was amazing. The one game that Cleveland won, they're down to their final out, down by 2 runs, double home run, walk off, and extra. It was amazing.
That series has been way more entertaining, even though it only went 5 games than Dodgers Mets, who every game is over by the 4th inning.
That's right.
And tonight is a bullpen game for the Dodgers, which it's just I don't know how they beat the Yankees. I don't know how they do it. When you have to throw 2 bullpen games into 7-game series, your pitching's probably not in a good place. I mean, like they're basically conceding today. I mean, they're not conceding it, but they're saying like and then they got to throw Buehler tomorrow. Probably right. I think Buehler's next. And he threw really well in Game 3, but before that, his ERA was 10 in the postseason.
Right.
They would. I imagine they win one of the next 2 games and get it done with because they can hit so well, right? I mean, at any point, Ohtani, Betts. I mean, these guys can hit the ball, and I think the Yankees are going to win their 28th championship. Yeah. I don't think. And as someone who works for Fox Sports, obviously this is Fox Sports Radio, but I mean, can you imagine the executives of Fox cannot be any happier of a Yankees Dodgers World Series?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I'll be in New York next week. Wednesday night. If they're playing Wednesday night, I might go. I gotta see what the ticket costs.
Should. Absolutely, you should.
I gotta see what the ticket costs though. There's a certain number I'm willing to go to for a game I don't care about. I've been to a World Series game where my own team was playing and I paid a lot of money. That's fine. It's my own team. But to go to Yankees Dodgers, I would like to sit in a good seat.
Big number.
Any good seat's going to be over 1,000 easily, right?
Big number.
Yeah. It's the World Series, you know.
I've been before the World Series, so it's not something that I have to cross off my bucket list.
Hey, that's one thing my dad has said to me. I don't know how many times throughout the year. He's like, "B, if the Cardinals are in the World Series, we're going." That's
have you been?
No, I haven't. I've never been to a World Series game.
So my thing with the World Series was I always told myself the same thing. Like, if the Giants are in the World Series and I can afford to go and I have the time, I will make it happen. So in 2014, they're in the World Series for the third time. And it's always during football season. I'm playing in the NFL. We had a bye week, and they were playing on the bye week. So I paid a lot of money, flew from New York to San Francisco.
Who was it? Lincecum, Kane?
No, it was the Giants won 11-4 against the Royals in Game 4 of 2014 World Series. And I surprised my dad with tickets and my uncle for his birthday.
There you go.
For his 60th birthday. So it was Game 4. They won 11-4. Pablo Sandoval had a big bases clearing triple. It was the most fun. It was Ryan Vogelsong and Jason Vargas. How about that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Vogelsong. Okay, hey, it's Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff presented by BetMGM. All season long, BetMGM's offering you a second chance on your first touchdown bet in the NFL. When a customer places an NFL wager on a first touchdown scorer bet, and he doesn't score first, but scores second, BetMGM will return 100% of their stake back in cash. With that, let's dive into this.
Let's go, rush it, let's go!
Second chance score.
This might be our last opportunity, man.
All right, Crack, we'll start with you. We're looking for a first touchdown scorer. If worst case scenario, he doesn't score first but scores second, we get our money back. Anyone that you have on your radar here?
I've been going to this guy often, Saquon Barkley, plus 4-1 at BetMGM. Again, great rule here. If he scores the second touchdown there, you get your money back. Plus 4-1, Saquon Barkley.
So I did bet on Saquon Barkley for this.
Wow.
And the reason why, Crack, is he's back in New York this weekend. And I think they try to get him a touchdown early in this game. I think the Giants cover this game, by the way. But I think that that they try to get him a score early just because he's back home. It's right. He's back home. And in these emotional games, coaches know. They know, right? So I think that's the way to go here. The other one that I'll give you, I think he's up, right? James Cook is playing today. Am I right on that?
I think
for the Bills.
He is. Yeah, he's banged up. He's iffy.
So he's quite. Ray Davis is playing. So Ray Davis is playing, and I think Cook is playing. Whatever. I think Cook scores a touchdown in the first two for Buffalo, plus 575. I think Buffalo, guys, wins this game 41-10. I really go look at the guys. I'm not go look at the way they play in these games. They either win by 4 touchdowns or lose. There's no outcome when they play bad teams or they win by 3 points. So the Amari Cooper trade is a big deal. I think the Amari Cooper trade really makes them a different team. They needed this guy in the worst way. Again, I don't know how much today he makes a difference. But they need a number one in a bad way. I think he makes more of a difference than Devontae Adams does for the Jets. So I'm really big on the Bills today, and they will be my crack challenge.
I'm going to stick with the Seahawks here and go with DK Metcalf as a first touchdown scorer. It's 11-1, so that's a very nice payday. And I just look at this and I say, well, hey, the Falcons' pressure rate is bad. They don't put a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And that is not a great recipe against Geno Smith, who averages the most passing yards per game. So, hey, 11-1 as a long shot to get it done. I'll go with DK to score the first touchdown of that game against the Falcons here.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's my selection for you guys. Hey, our thanks to Rapid Radios, the official communication device of Fox Sports Radio. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription or monthly fee. Business owners can keep in touch with up to 200 staff at one time, and it's a great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free shipping. Add code RADIO and get an extra 5% off. All right, we've got Bill Krackenberger from crackwins.com, Jeff Schwartz, 8-year NFL veteran. I'm Brian Noe. Coming up next, prop bets galore. We will compare notes, get you a bunch of picks. It is Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM.
You're listening to the biggest tailgate party in the nation.
The excitement is real. The anticipation is legit.
Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks.
This is a football 101 for everybody.
Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff.
It's time for football at BetMGM. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, exclusive bets, and the best daily promotions in the business. Plus, when you huddle up with BetMGM at your fingertips, every pass, every catch, and every game matter more than ever. Football is back. Don't miss out on any of the hard-hitting action. Place your money line prop and parlay bets with BetMGM today.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. For West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary by market and expire within 24 hours. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Ask yourself this.
Now, here's a taste of something that you missed from the Doug Gottlieb Show. Ready?
Again, Tony Bennett retiring as the men's basketball coach at Virginia.
And interesting, obviously, I occupy the seat where his dad sat. His dad, Dick, of course, legendary head coach at Green Bay. I know what people will say. They'll say, whoa, he retired 20 days before the start of the season. Something must be up. There have been a lot of reports. And again, this is not me reporting because I haven't talked to Tony about it. I just got a text from him when I got the job and kind of just let him be. But a lot of reports that Tony just didn't love where college basketball was going. When coaches want their guy to get the job, and we saw this with Dean Smith, we saw it with Roy Williams, we've seen it with lots of coaches where they retire right before the season, so there is no time for a national search. And, you know, he has two associate head coaches. One is Ron Sanchez. Ron was fired at Charlotte a year ago, really good coach, and Jason Wilford, who's another associate head coach, a longtime assistant under Tony Bennett. My guess would be that he would do it in an effort to get one of his guys the job. But
well, Doug, there's precedence with his dad, Dick. Dick retired early in citing burnout in Wisconsin in 2001. I think it's burnout. I think it's more burnout than to what you're saying at the beginning when you're like, yeah, maybe this college basketball isn't what it was.
Yeah, but I think it's burnout over how college basketball is.
To get the rest of what Doug said, podcast it by searching The Doug Gottlieb Show. And as always, you can hear The Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
I have good news for Justin Fields. And I think everybody knows Fields is a better quarterback, right? Albert Breer had a bit today. I think he was on with Dan Patrick, and he said that, hey, there's lots of people in the Steelers locker room that don't want to see a quarterback change. But for some reason, Tomlin is bent on this, and I don't know why this itch to scratch is there. Because I don't know what he thinks Russell Wilson's going to give the Steelers that Justin Fields doesn't. This is not Russell Wilson looking at the back of his football card. This is not Russell Wilson in 2013 or 2019. This is Russell Wilson coming off an injury. He hasn't played. He doesn't have the escapability. What do you think he's going to bring you that Justin Fields doesn't, right? You got to stick with the guy because Justin Fields is the better choice. So the best news for Justin Fields is he's probably a half or maybe one game from getting back to being a starting quarterback.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
Wow, 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 wow.
With Colin Cowherd.
So the Denver Broncos hammered the Saints in New Orleans 33-10. It didn't even feel that close. So when you go on the road like the Broncos did, on a short week with a rookie quarterback that didn't play well and win by 3 touchdowns, that's coaching. Dennis Allen may be the worst coach in the league. Sean Payton once again takes a dead franchise. Broncos were a dead franchise and has squeezed every ounce of talent out of them. And again, an offensive coach. We've been on this now for multiple years.
This is why I would always prefer to get an offensive coach. I've seen Andy Reid do this twice. I've seen Sean McVay do this. And now I've seen Sean Payton do this. I'm watching that Bronco O-line this year, guard, center, guard. It feels like a top 3 or 4 in the league.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Fox Sports Radio.
Here we go.
So how do you like it?
The question is this.
You like it like this?
Wait a minute. This is the NBA.
Or like this?
Baseball tends to be, of all our sports, very much steeped in tradition.
And what about this?
Basically, the NFL has found ways to make money off of everything.
Like it a lot. Whatever it is that you like, we've got it covered. It's sports the way you like it on Fox Sports Radio.
You don't want this smoke?
Kickoffs are coming soon, and we're leading you up to them. This is Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM. The king of sportsbooks. Once again, here's Brian Noe, 8-year NFL veteran Jeff Schwartz, and sports handicapper from crackwins.com, Bill Crack Crackenberger. Prop it up.
Let's go, Bud.
Player plays.
Okay, we're talking prop bets here. Crack, we know. Listen, this is Crack's revenge here. This is salty Crack. After a down week, right, or starting a losing weekend, like coming back with a vengeance over here. What's something
after a great season so far? Yeah, I expect to. I don't know. I guess I expect to win every single week these props. So having a great season, but had a down week. It's funny, guys. Just real quick, I actually sent you guys a prop just now. Something I heard during the break, and I sent it to my other group chat first. So my other group chat is my nieces and my sister-in-law. So they sent back to me, thank you, UB. They call me UB, like Uncle Buck. Thank you, Uncle Billy. I sent it to the wrong group. So anyway, let's go to the Colts game here. I look at Sermon under 53.5 rushing yards. Let me just make sure it's the right line. Still, I hate to give out a bad line. Yeah. So I think he loses more snaps to the backup here. So, under 53.5. That is the current line there. And there's a prop. I'll have more at the end of the show, but that's that one for now. Troy Sermon under 53.5 yards, rushing yards.
Okay. I will go with. Let's see here. I like Travis Kelce over 5.5 receptions today. We talk about this often. Big game and off a bye. When he is sort of refreshed off a bye or off rest, he tends to have sort of much bigger games, and they target him in this game as they don't have any wide receivers. Juju's a little beat up, so I like that. I like that there. What'd you say for Sermon, Crack? What'd you say?
53.5.
Oh, it's a 53. Those are 54.5 right now.
Yeah, listen, I'm giving out the BetMGM line, though. I think it's a fair thing to do.
So. No, it's under. I see under.
Oh, did it move up? It may have moved up. I just had.
You said the under or over?
Under.
Okay, well done.
Took a photo a little while ago.
Okay, well done.
For me.
Good.
Done. Not very difficult. No, I'm on the app right now. It said it was 54.5. Yeah.
Awesome. Good. Sounds good.
By the way, real fast, the Patriots just scored a touchdown.
Ooh, making the spread interesting.
Yeah, Drake May, nice drive, took him right down the field. KJ Osborne with the touchdown catch. They went for 2, didn't get it. But Jacksonville, I don't get it. I'll give Chris Perfett, our technical producer, credit off the air saying this. Like, what's Jacksonville doing? They were up by 15. It was 4th and 1. Instead of kicking it and going up by 18, which would be a 3-score lead, they're like, why don't we just go for it? Well, they got stuffed. And the Patriots, after scoring a touchdown, had a chance to make it a 1-possession game.
Yeah.
They didn't get the 2, but that's what bad teams do. They leave the door just slightly open.
They do. Yeah.
By
the way, yesterday the going for 2 down 8 won Maryland the football game. We see that often. We see teams try that often. It actually doesn't help teams win.
It worked
all the time.
out great. That was such a weird game, right? Where they got it. They're down 28-22. Then USC is attempting a field goal to be covering the spread. It gets blocked. Maryland scores. They win. Crazy.
I don't like USC anyways. Fair disclaimer here. I couldn't believe Riley kicked that field goal. The 1 yard they needed to win the game. That was it. 1 yard to win the game. You're freaking USC. You kick the field goal, get it blocked. And then Maryland returns it, scores a touchdown a few plays later, and then, of course, USC just doesn't even get close again to getting that game. USC 3-4 this season, 0-4 in Big Ten play, I believe.
Oof. Wow, I
think 0-4 in Big Ten play. So not where USC wanted to be in this situation. Of course, the Big Ten, led by two blue bloods at 4-0, Indiana and the University of Oregon. Now, Indiana's quarterback, by the way, hurt his thumb. You see that report this morning.
News,
fun team. They have an experienced backup, but still, Rourke was legit, like in the Heisman conversation. So bummer for Indiana. That number's coming down a lot, though. I might. If it gets under 7, I might take Indiana anyways.
Not a great quote by Lincoln Riley, where the question was like, "Hey, why? What's with all these end of game collapses?" I don't know.
I don't know.
Real quick, Jeff, as far as the props go, I'm on Ravens running back Justice Hill. I'm going to take over 16.5 receiving yards against Tampa. Tampa plays a ton of zone coverage, but Justice Hill gets targeted a lot when they're facing zone defenses. So I look for him to get 17 receiving yards later tonight against Tampa. Or
it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I should say.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Monday night.
Two Monday night games again that no one asked for.
You can't call it a double header. It's like the staggered
And
header.
one's only streaming. One's only on ESPN Plus.
Weird. I don't get it. As you would say, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Just need one Monday night game, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What were you going to say real fast, Jeff? I know you're
I would say I'm looking at games for next week already for college football. UNLV and Boise State being Friday night at 10:30 is a shame.
Ooh.
That needs to be like a primetime game. That's a fantastic game.
Well, hey, that's a great segue to, hey, you can make an argument. This matchup should be a primetime game today. We will get to a great contest coming up next.
We are Sports.
Football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws a block, and his teammate scores instead. Ugh. But with BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms.
This U.S. promotional offer not available in Ontario or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. For West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
This is the big time.
You must have been busy, but the Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Calvin Washington. Here we go. We're breaking this down.
There is somebody who I believe is gonna be one of those ones in the league as far as a quarterback, and he's looking good thus far coming off an injury, and I'm talking about Jordan Love. And somebody has some big time words for him, saying some flattery his way. Rob G, hit us with that.
D'Amico Ryans, who is one of those coaches who doesn't say a whole heck of a lot, so him to say anything publicly kind of raised some eyebrows. Talking about Jordan Love, said this: he will be, talking about Jordan Love, the best quarterback we faced this year. It doesn't sound too crazy until you consider that 2 weeks ago, Houston beat up on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. So take that for what it's worth.
I actually, Rob, I don't think that's crazy. I think Josh Allen is absolutely one of the best quarterbacks and has been for the last, give or take 3-4 years, without a doubt. But I think Jordan Love, I think he's actually better than Josh Allen. I think he's going to have had a better career once it's said and done. I think the Packers just keep getting lucky with quarterbacks. Maybe it's scouting. Maybe they know what they're doing. But to have Brett Favre for so long, Aaron Rodgers for so long, and now you got another one that looks like Jordan Love, you're set for another 10 to 15 years. Man, the rich keep getting richer. I think he's amazingly talented. And to me, he is the hybrid of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Brett Favre, great arm strength, kind of had that spunk, that thing you want. The fellas loved him. The team loved him. The fans love him. but he did take some risks. He did.
To get the rest of what The Odd Couple said, podcast it by searching Odd Couple. And as always, you can listen to The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
This, keep it on the down low here,
is the Dan Patrick Show.
Well, I mentioned when Aiden Hutchinson went down, I would place a call, if I'm the Lions, to the Cleveland Browns. I would just kick the tires on Myles Garrett. Now, they might go, click. Or I would call the Raiders and ask about Max Crosby. Because Devontae Adams, we thought was going to be traded. Now you're in a rebuild. Well, Max Crosby was asked about maybe playing elsewhere.
I'm not here to rebuild. I'm here to win.
Well, I would stay in Vegas then. If I were you, I'd be leaving Las Vegas. I would do what Devontae Adams did. Just say, I'd like to play for a team that's going to compete. Can I do that? Can I help you get some draft picks? Can I help you rebuild? Can I help you get your quarterback? Can I help you with Tom Brady now taking over as a minority owner?
Dan Patrick.
The Dan Patrick Show. Weekdays 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Want the best? We're waiting. A straight shooter.
That's the kind of guy that I am.
2 words. Doug Gottlieb.
Don't let me grab this mic right here one time.
Better yet, Coach Gottlieb.
Now you got it.
Admit it. Your afternoons just got better.
Dude, you get everybody in, you look them in the eye and go, let's go. You know who I am. Like, do you understand the value in that?
It's the Doug Gottlieb Show. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Right here on Fox Sports Radio.
Are y'all ready to have some fun?
On the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon.
I'm just going to say, because it's going to seem weird.
You'll get this.
I'm not saying the guy's overrated.
And some of this.
Oh, like death, pettiness knows no tax bracket.
Oh, hey now. And on occasion,
4, 2, 1.
What's our disaster scenario early on in the season?
That.
Yeah, baby.
Let's go. It's the Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. On Fox Sports Radio. And here's what you need to know.
At Wembley Stadium in London right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars have a 25-16 lead over the New England Patriots with 4:51 remaining in the fourth quarter. Patriots jumped out to a 10-0 lead. Jacksonville answered with a 25-0 run, including a 96-yard punt return for a touchdown by Parker Washington. But the Patriots came back with a 22-yard touchdown pass from Drake May to K.J. Osborne. They went for 2 after that, but did not get it. So again, with 4:51 left in the fourth, the Jaguars lead the Patriots 25-16. Presently, Jacksonville coming up, looking at a 2nd and 8 at the Patriot 45-yard line. New York Jets pass rusher Hassan Reddick has ended his holdout, according to his new agent. He's expected to now report to the team tomorrow. Tonight at 8:08 Eastern, Game 6 of the NLCS with the Dodgers leading the Mets 3-2. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
Are you ready to witness greatness?
NFL fans, welcome to the largest tailgate party in the nation.
Hey, Sharp, right from the beginning.
Get that work in today, huh?
Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. We're setting you up with the information you need to watch your team win.
Victory is the end game.
We're here to break it all down.
Oh, that's hard.
This is Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM. Now, we're live from your tailgate. Here's Brian Noe, 8-year NFL veteran Jeff Schwartz, and professional sports bettor Bill Krackomberger.
Oh, welcome in. We are 1 hour away from the 1 p.m. Eastern kick times here. I'll get you all set for Week 7. We've got London football going on, ticking down. We're about 4 minutes to go. Jags still up 25-16 on the Patriots, as anybody involved in this game is watching very, very closely because it's right around the number. The Jags covering right now as they do not convert on 3rd down. And we're going to get the Patriots with the football here. So, hey, man, Drake May has looked pretty good. Pretty good today. I know it's the Jags defense. Their pass defense is freaking terrible, but a couple of nice throws in start number 2. So not a bad day for Drake May. We'll see if they can get closer.
Nothing's ever easy, though. Like you think you're coasting along here with Jacksonville.
That's
they came
right.
back. And you know what? You if you're betting on this game, especially -6.5, which was up there like a lot of the week, 6. It was 5.5. I have 5.5 in my contest. But if you're betting on this game, you actually want them to make that 2-point conversion.
Yes.
Because now they could kick a field goal, which is more likely. But can this offense even move the ball down the
They
field?
have
A little
been.
momentum. So.
Crack, remember, Jackson was up 14 points against the Colts with 5 minutes left 2 weeks ago, and the game went to overtime. Like they're the thing about gambling that's just like you know it's going to happen, yet it still bothers you is how things are going to like. Last night, I had Colorado State -6.5 against Air Force. They're up 21-0. They're dominating the game. They fumble the ball. Air Force, who is maybe the worst team in the country, scores a quick touchdown, 21-7. Colorado State goes 3 and out again, kicks the ball back to Air Force. They go score again. Go for 2 and miss it, thankfully.
Oof.
So, and then then Colorado State goes 3 out again and kicks the ball back to Air Force, and the clock ran out on Air Force. So I won by a point and a half.
Why can't you just have a cigar game?
But correct. It was. Why can't we have one of those? Like, if Buffalo wins by 45, that's a cigar game. I need that to happen today. How about Alabama yesterday going into that game against Tennessee with cigars in their mouths as they walk in the tunnel? What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing, guys?
I heard about this.
Yeah, come on.
That's a rough look, man. And especially when you're melting down and stupid penalties toward the end of the game, and that's a rough look right there. Hey, how about this? One of the marquee matchups of the day: Chiefs undefeated, 5-0 at San Francisco. Of course, we know what happened in the Super Bowl a handful of months ago. Some people could say this is a Super Bowl rematch. If you get into that, great, but. It's a matchup of teams that we're talking marquee teams right here. The one thing, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier in the show, Jeff, is I get it. The Chiefs in this spot, and they're small underdogs here. They're very feisty, very tough to beat. But I still can't get over. I know this is Mahomes. He's obviously the best quarterback in the game. But the numbers he's putting up with the mediocre weapons around him, no Rashee Rice, you got Juju is questionable. He's a little bit banged up. Like when you have 6 touchdown passes and 6 interceptions, he's got a lower passer rating than Trevor Lawrence heading into this week of football. That's alarming. And at some point, that's got to catch up with the Chiefs. It's not a Mahomes thing. It's just a Chiefs offense thing.
I get what you're saying, Brian, but I feel like this is just who they've been now for over a year and a half, and they're just a very complete team, right?
Yeah.
I think Mahomes understands he doesn't have to be a hero to win a lot of these games anymore. We could play good defense, but again, off this bye though, I'm kind of curious because they're playing a Niners team that we know is really good. Their record is not as good as I think that they are as a team, and I could see the Chiefs sort of having one of their better game plans of the season against the 49ers. They always game plan the Niners pass rush really well. They're always able to find ways to make Bosa's life a little more difficult, put Fred Warner in conflict. And one thing Kansas City's done this season, guys, is they've held the leading rusher for a team under their average every game they played so far this season. If you go look at the starting running back numbers for anyone they play, it's all unders. It's under every week. So they're stopping the run really well defensively. We know they can stop the pass. They can rush the passer. And Mahomes doesn't have to do a lot, guys. He doesn't have to be the hero anymore. But I think he still has that in him if he has to do it. And today might be that day. I mean, look, I don't know if they're going to win this game 21-20 or 30-27. It might have to be a little higher scoring. So it's a fascinating game. I don't believe in Super Bowl revenge in this spot. It's like week 7 now. It's that was last season. Trent Williams, their left tackle, said so much. Like that game happened. It already happened. We're not going to rehash that game. Lastly, I'll say this. I think the Niners have lost 5 in a row to the Chiefs now. 2 Super Bowls, 3 regular season games, including one where Jimmy G got hurt a few years back. That was 2019, I think, when he got hurt in that game. When you have a team that has beaten you this many times, it makes sense to sort of over-prepare, and that worries me. If the Niners try to do too much in this game because they're getting owned essentially, that's where you get in situations you don't want to be in as a team crack. So I lean Kansas City here. Mahomes as a 3-point favorite or less is something like 10-1 against the spread out live. I mean, just this is a good spot historically to bet Kansas City.
Isn't this NFL amazing? Everything comes down to this last drive. The total, side,
big holding
everything
call there
comes
too.
down.
Big
hold there. Anyway, just something off the subject of Kansas City, San Fran. But anyway, we have a nice little rematch here. As we said, the championship last year. These teams are favored
another
again.
Another sack.
Wow. You're ahead of me.
New England might as well quickly punt this ball and then try to use the 2-minute warning and the 2 timeouts they have. I mean,
they're going to go for it.
It's 4th and like 25.
I know.
Yeah, they should punt it. You're right.
But
they should
that's
just punt it
interesting,
before
though.
the 2-minute warning.
You're right, though. That's interesting. Before the 2-minute warning.
The only thing, though, is to win it, which they're trying to do, you're down 2 scores.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. I was thinking about covering the game. I was like, to cover the game, they should punt the ball. No, you're right. They have to go for it. 4th and 26 here. It's going to hit the 2-minute warning, I think.
You might as well just let it hit. Don't.
There's no rush now.
Yeah.
You guys are ahead of me. So the 2-minute warning. Imagine betting live. I'm still at 227 on my screen. So
I got the game on actual NFL Network. So Jacksonville will probably survive. Doug Peterson will survive one more week. My New England fewest wins still alive. New England under 3.5 games still alive. So all my Patriots numbers are still alive here as we head into week 8 now after this loss.
And you know what I was talking about before Minnesota? I'm not even thinking the Chiefs also are 5-0. It just doesn't feel like the Chiefs are 5-0.
You're right.
They could have lost so many games. Like that Atlanta game, it was like a primetime game. I thought they were going to lose. There are spots the Chiefs just barely hang on to win, though.
And they should get credit for that. It's like we're just not happy.
Yes.
They should be winning with style. It's like
offensively, they just not have looked like the same team I guess they were last year, maybe. The defense, though, might be better than last year's. I'm just saying, maybe that's why I just didn't realize they're still 5-0. So, big game. If I look at it that way, then this is a bigger game for the 49ers, who are just 3-3. But they still have the number 2 rated offense for Week 7. I think I read earlier. So, and they're still the odds. People betting them to win the NFC and Purdy to become one. There's just so many different situations here for the 49ers to show up here big. And, listen, it's against the great Pat Mahomes, though. This guy is unbelievable, though. Should be a great game to watch today. And it may come down to the last possession, just like this New England game.
Hey, how about a cool story here where San Francisco wide receiver Ricky Pearsall, he'll make his NFL debut here today. And he was shot in the chest back in August, and miraculously, he's playing a football game just a couple of months later. No Juwan Jennings, one of the receivers. He's got a hip injury. He's out for the Niners. Here's the question in my mind, though. Jeff, I'll throw it to you because, you watch the Chiefs closer than anybody else. Steve Spagnuolo, he does a great job as the Chiefs defensive coordinator of limiting and sometimes taking away what you do best as an offense.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm wondering is, you mentioned the running backs, they're not hitting their overs against the Chiefs. Do you think it starts with Jordan Mason, slowing him down? You've got Kittle, you've got Ayuk, you've got Debo. What do you think is the focal point of that Niners offense for Spags?
Well, I think the thing about when you shut down the running attack is you make a team one-dimensional, right? So now 1st and 10, 2nd and 8, 2nd and 8 goes to 3rd and 7. That's where you want Brock Purdy to be, is 3rd and long, because then you can dial up your pressures. You get Chris Jones freed up to try to wreak havoc. Like that to me, that's why teams do that, right? It's why they think stop the run first and then go in. So I think that's what they try to do. They have the secondary to do that. That's partly why, right? Trent Duffy, all the players they have in the secondary really help allow them the freedom to sort of get after quarterbacks and try to stop the run early in a series. So that's why I think they do it, Brian.
Yeah. No, interesting. All right, so we got the Patriots, 4th and 26.
So here's the question: if they don't get this, okay, which they're not going to get, Does Jacksonville just take a knee and then New England doesn't call timeout? Like, I'm kind of curious how that.
No, they definitely
I'm with Brian.
Yeah. No, they'd call timeout for sure if that's the situation.
And ball is just thrown in the middle. I mean, Hail Mary, nothing to be done there.
Yeah.
I was going to take Drake May over his pass attempts early, but the market was down. I'm kind of curious if I would have hit it. I'm kind of curious what he's at right now.
He's at like 33.
Yeah, it would have been under. It was like 36 and a half. So that wouldn't have hit.
Well, that's the thing. They might get the ball back.
If they get the ball back, it's going to be with under a minute left. I mean,
still, that might be enough. Where you talk about a minute left. They should get the ball back at worst. And,
why would New England call their timeouts here, though? Let's be serious. They're down 9 with a minute 54 left and 2 timeouts.
Crazier things have happened in the NFL here, Jeff.
No, they just human nature is they just want to think they're still in it and call their timeouts. I'm sure. I mean, you guys are ahead of me, so
I'm
you
curious
tell me.
if they
Am I
do.
right?
See.
Oh, they will, no doubt.
Yeah. I would say
no doubt.
You think so?
If there was a yes/no bet, I bet the yes timeout.
Yeah, I wish that was offered on BetMGM right here. Bigsby tackled after a gain of 2 or something. Timeout all day.
They did it.
Yeah, wow, no doubt. Yeah.
At this point, it just feels like.
And does Jacksonville kick a field goal? I mean,
if they need to, they will.
Make a 14-point game, right? They should.
Yeah.
Obviously, not a 14-point. Make it a 12-point game.
Yeah. Backdoor cover, still alive.
Actually, depends on where the ball is at. If the ball's like at the 1, you might as well go for the touchdown.
Right. Well, they would in that situation. They would.
Yeah. They've already been stuffed on 4th down in this. They got stuffed on 4th down the previous drive right near the red zone too.
Yeah, I think they'd have to be like a yard or 2 away to go for it, especially when they got burned by not kicking the field goal when it was 4th and 1 earlier in the game. If we're talking like 4th down from the 5, I think they kick it. But
do you think the people in the crowd they're showing are Jacksonville fans that live in London? Or they flew all the way.
You always wonder this, right?
Yeah.
It's
they have a big
there's
support
going to be a blend.
over there.
Yeah, there'll be a blend.
Yeah, they love the NFL over there, and their games are always sold out. So, I don't think they're Jacksonville fans coming in from Florida. Florida seems not to support their teams. Whenever I go to a game, I'm always shocked. They don't even want to show up in the stadium in Florida. Never mind fly across the pond there. So I don't know about that.
If you're ever in London for a game, Jeff, I swear you're going to ask about 100 fans that, like, hey, are you a Jags fan living in London, or did you fly over here from the States? That's going to be the question then.
They have to put me like man on the street situation. I got to go there and do this for Fox Sports for BetMGM. Like, I'll hang out with Christian over there, and we'll just like, who's the guy we had a couple years ago that was in London? I'll hang out with him, and we'll just like talk to people about it. In London has the betting kiosks in the stadiums, though, right?
I believe they do. Yeah,
which we need to get. Which I'm surprised we haven't done in America. So ball touchdown, so it's over.
Okay, Bigsby.
So does that hit the over now? Cracked? Is that just
that was the swing there? It was 43 the total, so it was on 41.
Well, that's where you're probably gonna. You got the window for that. I know it's too late, but the Drake May passing attempts over. He's probably gonna get there. Unless they turn it over, he's easily gonna get.
Or just like run the ball twice and go home. You could do that too.
No, they won't do that. Because this is still a 16-point game, 2 touchdowns. Hey man, you're gonna fight to the end in this spot. It's got to be a bigger lead than that. All right, we've got Bill Krackenberger from crackwins.com, sports handicapper. Jeff Schwartz, 8-year NFL veteran. I'm Brian Nell. Coming up next, a new look for both teams that will be facing off today. It is Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by BetMGM.
Football is for the weekends. And the reactions are for Monday. Listen to the best break it down. 2 pros and a cup of Joe with Jonas Knox and NFL veterans LeVar Arrington and Brady Quinn, Dan Patrick, and Colin Cowherd. The best reactions on a Monday are right here on Fox Sports Radio.
It's football time at BetMGM. Use code COUNTDOWN and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register at BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, signature bets, and the best daily promotions in the business. Use code COUNTDOWN and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. This U.S. promotional offer not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. Or visit www.1800gambler.net in West Virginia. Subject to eligibility requirements, rewards, or non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-296-8708. 800-296-8708. Again, that's 800-296-8708. Coverage, deductibles, and claims may vary. For details, go to endurancewarranty.com.
Work. I play it all day, every day at work.
When Dan Patrick speaks, you better stop and listen.
Yeah, where do you listen at?
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
I did see where DeMarcus Cousins, who won a championship with the Lakers, said that the team drafting Bronny James, they're not serious about winning.
I don't really think the Lakers are serious anymore. I love everything that it stands for. I think, what Bron is doing with his legacy and just, as a businessman and everything that comes with it, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's really, really dope. But as far as the Lakers actually competing, I don't know. I take that as a sign as they aren't really serious.
Okay, does he have a point here? Because they used a late second-round pick on LeBron's son that they're not really serious. Because you gotta worry about some of these other teams. Like Houston is coming up. Like you're gonna have to deal with some of these other teams that you normally don't. Memphis is going to be with John Morant. Do the Pelicans figure it out? Minnesota's going to be really good. Denver is a good team. I don't think they're a championship team anymore. But the Suns still have a nucleus. I mean, there's a lot going on out here. But I don't think drafting Bronny James means you're not serious. Let's go back in history where you had teams who drafted. Carl Lewis got drafted in the NBA. Pat Riley once got drafted in the NFL, I think by the Cowboys. Now, these are later. These are 8th round, 9th round when you had drafts that are a little bit longer. The fact that it's a 2-round draft, you look at this and say, well, they're not really serious. I think they are.
If you want to know what Dan Patrick said next, just podcast it by searching The Dan Patrick Show. And as always, you can listen to Dan Patrick live weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. Y'all realize The Odd Couple is loved. I mean, just listen to these people.
Hey, the new show sounds great. I want to welcome Calvin.
Welcome, Calvin. You're bringing in some youthful energy to The Odd Couple.
They can't get enough of The Odd Couple.
You know, the new iteration of The Odd Couple is great to see.
Rob Parker, Calvin Washington, a show that no one can miss. Check it. Hold up. It's The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Calvin Washington. You can hear them right here. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Let's make the complicated simple.
Colin Cowherd.
Are you ready?
Colin Cowherd.
Well, you know how this works, right?
The most interesting man in sports.
We're confusing interesting with great.
Because when he's right, he's right.
A sports and entertainment prodigy.
And when he's wrong, he's also right.
New information equals new opinion.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Making your mornings right. Weekdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. We know content is king.
You listening, everyone?
That's why our lineup is oozing with legends.
Welcome to the program.
We got something. We got a story.
With experience.
That's the game in life.
He used to rock his uniform the same exact way I did.
With them.
Man, let me talk.
And them.
Oh, you're that bloke on the radio.
And now I've got that image in your head. You name it, we got it.
There's a difference there.
We're different. We're better.
Let that one sink in.
We're Fox Sports Radio.
To the end zone.
Welcome to the biggest tailgate party in the nation.
Let's go!
You're locked into Fox Sports Radio's Countdown to Kickoff. And it's presented by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Once again, here's Brian Noe, 8-year NFL veteran Jeff Schwartz, and sports handicapper from crackwins.com, Bill Crack Crackenberger.